The world is full of podcasts.
Magic is waiting in weekly episodes.
And monsters might be danger, or a friend in a fight.
But if you love a good crossover, the adventures are just getting started.
Are you ready to meet some new friends along the way?
This is the Storyteller Squad Expanded Universe. Hello, adventurers. Welcome back to the Storyteller Squad. Thanks for joining us for our very special crossover series. I am joined today by my lovely guest from the Writer's Room. So, before we jump into the story, let's check in with our heroes.
I guess I'll go first.
Hello, my name is Panger, and if you don't know already, I'm a cat. Meow.
Greetings. I am Jerry, not spelled the way you're thinking. I'm the postman, little girl's horse down the street, family dog, and the sworn enemy of one of us here, although it's only on her end, and I'm still trying to figure out exactly why. And I'm Patrick. I'm portraying Jerry.
Oh, fuck. That's right. I'm Zoe.
Oh, is that part of it?
It can be. I mean, that's up to you.
Okay, all right. No one's going to figure out who I am. It's going to be a secret. Okay, all right. Hi, I'm Quentin Bell, and I'm just trying to pay my bills, man. I just work here. This is my day off.
So many new hunters. I wonder what sort of trouble I'll put them in. I'm Natalie Fuina. I'm your keeper of monsters and mysteries. Let's have an adventure. A series of mysterious deaths has occurred in and around Boston and the North Shore region of Massachusetts. The bodies of victims have been discovered in their homes or laying out in the streets, appearing emaciated and withered. The police have kept these grisly details from the public, since they have not been able to come up with a plausible explanation for this phenomena. Members of the supernatural community are concerned that a violent and dangerous entity has descended upon the greater Boston area. This lingering sense of unease and fear has many of the folk feeling anxious and wondering, can anyone protect them from this hidden danger? But our story begins to the north of Boston proper, in the coastal town of Salem. The many historic buildings, with their angular gabled roofs and black exterior siding, reinforce this quaint locale's spooky reputation. But we are in the start of summer, and so the autumn colors have yet to bring about those Halloween vibes, and the residents of Salem go about their day-to-day, for the moment, still enjoying the slight lull in tourist traffic, before it will inevitably pick back up in the fall. We will start the actual action of our story with Quentin.
Oh, shit, okay.
It is a warm summer evening, and you are riding the T home after being in the city proper for a class, or maybe you were meeting some friends for dinner. As you arrive and step off your train at the Salem T stop, you see a familiar T station worker, Miss Mallory Klein. She is picking up some garbage and ushering folks toward the stairs and exit.
Hi, Mallory. You having a good night?
Yeah, what do you want, kid?
Oh, okay. Just saying hi, just getting back from the city.
Yeah, I can see that. You want a fucking prize or something? Come on, it's 11:30. You're holding me up. I'm trying to clock out here.
I don't know. Maybe I do want a prize. Fuck. Yeah, all right.
Do you want to describe Quentin as he steps off the train and heads away down the platform?
I like the idea of the, choose your fighters screen, but it's just the red line rolls up. Quentin is a 22-year-old young lad. He's got some shoulder-length, dark brown hair. He always looks a little tired. Currently wearing a substantially large, dark, well-worn and loved wizard hat. It's got a couple of patches on the side, and it's got a couple of flowers in it, a couple of holes. He's got a very, very cozy sweater and medium-length cardigan. You know, he's one of those people that will wear jeans in the summer. He's skinny enough that he gets cold if a stiff breeze even so much as thinks about him.
Yeah. So you move along after trying to be polite, and Mallory responds in her usual grouchy fashion. And you hear from behind you as you pass the turnstiles. Oh, come on. And your friend and coworker, Rachel Doyle, the sweater she's wearing is caught on the mechanism of the turnstile somehow, and she's tugging, trying to free herself. But the more she pulls on it, the more it unravels and makes how badly she's tangled up even worse.
Rachel, do you want help?
No, I got it. And she tugs on it, continues to make it worse. Mallory comes over and she says, "What are you doing? Oh my God, stop, okay? Just stop. I'll go get some scissors."
I just want to go home.
Rachel is a dark-haired young woman. She is constantly dealing with a series of bad luck and unfortunate accidents. She is also fairly skinny, like Quentin, with a bit of a slump to her shoulders, and the sweater she's wearing is probably something someone made for her, and it's now being ruined the more she struggles.
Gosh, she's a fucking mess.
You can go. I know it's late. Mallory's going to be so mad when she gets back. You should just go, and I'll deal with this. Thanks for going out for drinks with me and for paying. I don't know why my car got declined. I'll see you at work in the morning.
Good night, Rachel. Don't stay out too long.
Oh, yeah, I'm going to go home right away. I promise. I've had enough for tonight. And you glance at the large stain on the leggings she's wearing where somebody spilled their drink on her.
Oh, no.
And she's kind of off balance because the heel on one of her shoes is broken. So you walk off the landing and leave the station.
As he's walking away over his shoulder, I'll call you an Uber.
Eventually, Mallory comes back and just snips Rachel's sweater loose, clears the tangle of yarn remnants from the turnstile. Now get out of here and stop wearing stuff that can get caught in these things. 3rd time this week. And Rachel takes the sad, balled-up tangle of yarn as she apologizes and heads quickly out of the station to catch the Uber that you called for her. We see Mallory eventually begins closing up the station. She's emptying trash cans and sweeping up one last time. A few pigeons and crows fly around and perch on various lights and signage. Some of them fly down and peck at crumbs and whatnot. Mallory sweeps her broom at them. "Go on, get out of here. I'm closing up. You gotta go too. Shoo!"
Hey, go on, scram.
And they disperse, and mostly all just flock together and perch behind her in the rafters of the platform. It's this weird mix of crows and pigeons and other small birds that live in urban areas. But it's odd they'd all be flying around together like a unified flock. We cut to a security camera in the office of the station that has a view of the platform. And we see in the grainy footage that Mallory turns and starts to leave. But this mass of feathers and wings seem to form a swirling cloud of flying forms, which pass in front of the camera and quickly obscures Mallory's form. And when the flock finally breaks up and flies away, we see Mallory's withered form laying motionless on the station platform.
Oh.
No! Mallory, no, I love you!
Oh,
I've
God.
only met this woman for 2 minutes and now she's dead? Fuck!
Okay. I understand how this is gonna go now.
Oh no! I will avenge you, Mallory.
We pick up the next day. It's sunny, if a bit overcast, and we see the welcoming storefront of a bookshop. Situated in one of the historic neighborhoods where the roads are still cobblestone and the sidewalks are all brick paved, the Derby Square Bookstore. In the 2 front windows, there are many old, well-worn books stacked and piled in a random, haphazard sort of way. There's even an old chair that you might think would be great for sitting and reading a book in, if it wasn't also half buried in more books. And Zoe, could you introduce us to your character?
Oh, sure. Well, sitting pretty in the window on a pile of books is a £35 Angora Maine Coon cat. Her long, soft, and very fluffy coat is the purest white, like fresh fallen snow, and her eyes glitter like the emerald green that the grass can be in Highlands, with a bit of mischief in it. From tip of my nose to the tip of my tail, I am about 5.5 feet long, and I'm also polydactyl as I do a big giant stretch as the sun is coming through the window, and so I stretch all of my pale pink beans as far as I can and do a big giant yawn. That yawn that like goes all the way up my face and makes me look like a monster. And then I settle back down into my fluffy, cozy fur and just watch the bypassers as they walk past the window.
The camera drifts past this true feline queen into the interior of the bookstore. It's a very crowded bookshop. The merchandise is piled high in these precarious mountains on top of overstuffed shelves. The smell of old paperback paper, well-worn carpet, and a struggling radiator system hits you when you enter. There are simple handmade signs to indicate each section, like self-help or mysteries, which hang on simple string or wire from sections of the drop ceiling. The signs are mostly for show and only weakly attempting to convince patrons that maybe if they were a regular, the chaos of the stacks could be navigated with some semblance of efficiency. And you hear a voice call to you from the checkout counter. Bonnie, you're gonna have folks thinking we're a pet shop if you keep sunning yourself there. Come on out of the window, would ya? And we see the proprietor of Derby Square Books, Malcolm Greer. He is at once the sort of kindly old grandpa you would love to hear a story from, but would not want to upset by taking too many cookies before bedtime. There is a twinkle in his eye and a sincerity to his smile when he calls to you, Bonnie, but behind that, a sternness and dignity earned through his many years of life. His sharp features are softened by wrinkles and a neatly trimmed beard that is mostly white. He has reddish blonde hair that is shifting to gray, but more often than not, it's covered by a green tartan patterned hat, paired with a handmade scarf and his signature brown wool overcoat.
Good.
It's getting warmer out though, and so those things are hung up on a coat rack, and he is sitting at the counter in a plain cotton shirt that has the sleeves rolled up past his elbows, which reveals some very intricate tattoos that cover both his forearms and seem to creep even further up his arm past the carefully rolled shirt sleeves. And he extends one of these old hands out towards you in the come get scritches sort of gesture.
I love that. I get up and stretch my back legs as I do the judging of the jump, the 1-2 of my front paws, and then I jump down onto the floor from the window and rub myself all around in between his feet as he puts his hand down to scritch my ears, which is my favorite.
Ah, you're warm as toast, my sweet girl. You trying to cook yourself? And as Malcolm is giving Bonnie the good pets, the door opens, ding, 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 and in walks Quentin as you arrive for work.
Hi, Malcolm. Hi, Bonnie. He just like runs to the back to like where his little cubby is, and he's got his backpack off. Sorry, I'm late.
Yeah, could you act under pressure? First roll of the game, act under pressure as you rush to the back to stash your things and put on the little green work apron that serves as your employee uniform.
Yeah. Can you watch the register for a sec?
Bonnie hops up on the register and sits very proudly.
Thank you, Bonnie. That's just 2d6.
2d6, and then add your cool value to that.
My cool. Got it. All right, let's see. Oh, God.
Oh, no.
Oh, no. I got a 10.
Oh, yay.
Okay.
Got a 6 and 4.
Okay, Quentin, as you're running through the bookstore, you're going to hang up your jacket, and you're in a rush, but you're pretty nimble, and you leap over what almost looks like books that have spilled out of the bookshelf. They're actually stacked, but there's just so many, it appears like this avalanche of paperbacks.
He's used to it.
And as you land effortlessly beyond them, Malcolm turns to you. Oh, be careful there, lad. I've been reorganizing the language section.
Yeah, it doesn't look any different than it did last week, Malcolm.
Well, I can't understand half of the titles. They're all in different languages, you see, so it's taken a bit longer.
Yeah, you flip open through all of them. Is this you saying you want me to put them away?
I'm saying that on a quiet day like today, if you'd like to, I wouldn't say no to the help.
Yeah, all right.
So you spend the morning helping Malcolm to restack and shelve the books from the language section and clear a path so that visitors to the shop can at least move a little more easily in this labyrinth of books that is the shop.
Hey, Bonnie, come here.
She comes over.
Pulls up a book. Can you know how to read hieroglyphs?
Bonnie's ears twitch, and then she looks up at you and nods slightly.
That's funny. He gives her a little scritch and then puts it back on the shelf. Cats.
Maybe an hour or so goes by. It's getting to be around 10:30. Malcolm is just sitting at the counter sipping some tea. The door opens again, and it's Rachel finally arriving. She looks tired. Her hair is a mess and shoved kind of to one side in a sloppy ponytail. She has those same leggings from the night before on and just a jacket thrown on over her unraveling sweater. Sorry I'm late. I'll get right on finishing that new sign, Mr. Greer. Malcolm sets his cup down and looks at Rachel over the rim of his glasses. You know it's all right for you to take a sick day now and then, lass. What happened? You look ghastly. Well, I'm not sick. I got an Uber home from the train last night, but their GPS had the wrong address queued up, so they got all turned around and kind of lost. And then once we were headed back in the right direction, their car got a flat tire, and it turns out their AAA had just expired. So we had to put the spare on ourselves, but then the car jack slipped and they broke two of their fingers. So I said I'd drive them to urgent care, and they were just feeling so anxious. So I said I'd stay with them to make sure they were all right. And by the time we finished and got back to their car, we realized the Uber tracker had been going the whole time. So my account got charged like $400, and they said they'd resolve it, but I felt so bad about it all, and I wound up tipping them anyway.
Christ.
So Rachel goes on and on about how her not amazing night went from bad to worse.
Oh, God. No matter where Bonnie is in the store, the moment that she hears Rachel's voice, she gets up from whatever she's doing, trots herself over to where Rachel is, and gets up on her hind legs to like bat at her until Rachel picks her up and is holding her like a baby, like upside down. And Bonnie's absolutely just content. There's just loud purring like a small jet engine.
You see Rachel ironically straightens a little bit despite this 35-pound cat in her arms. She laughs and smiles as she pets your soft underbelly. Thanks, Bonnie. It's hard to stay upset with you around. And so she'll put you over her shoulder and walk up to the second floor where she's been painting some new signage for the shop. Jerry, why don't we meet your character, as I imagine he's strolling down the street?
So, waltzing down the street with the ever-present spring in their step, Jerry's a mailman. Jerry's a postman individual, and is wearing a bit of an odd variation of the typical postman's outfit. Instead of that prototypical light blue short-sleeved button-up with like the shorts and the high socks and everything, has a full blue suit on, properly tied black tie with the blue vest, blue jacket. The classic sort of postman's cap is very old school.
It's like a navy color blue too, right? Like darker?
It's like a dark navy of like the old, like way back. It looks like he's walked out of the 1920s postman kind of era. Nobody's entirely sure why he has this suit. He just always has. Long, shaggy black hair underneath, very sharp features, high cheekbones. Pale as the full moon, bright blue eyes, and an ever-present smirk on his face. They're just kind of waltzing down the street, opening up mailboxes for all the different shops, going in, maybe saying hi if they don't necessarily have a designated mailbox, and dropping it off personally.
And along your route is one of your favorite places to stop in, Derby Square Books.
Mail call, everyone!
Oh, hi, Jerry.
Quentin, my dear boy, how are you?
Shit. 1 sec.
Oh, very good. I see.
I'm fine. Bonnie, stop. Leave him. Stop.
Bonnie, my sweet lass.
Leave him alone.
As vibrant as always. How are you today, Malcolm?
We're doing just fine, Jermid. Just fine. Been spending the morning with a cup of tea and reorganizing the languages of the world. And he gestures at the stacks he and Quentin were working on.
He said that last week.
To be entirely fair, he's been doing it for the past 3 years. And as Bonnie is growling at them, they pull from their little satchel bag the day's mail and hands it over to Malcolm. And that is for you.
Bonnie swats at it.
I know.
Malcolm lifts the mail high enough that you can't reach it, Bonnie, and thumbs through it before handing one letter back to you since it has the wrong address on it. I don't think this one's ours.
Of course. Jeremy Irons, probably not the same one, pockets it again.
And when you slip the letter back into your mailbag, an astute person might see a small pair of hands grab at it and hear a small giggle from inside your little mailbag.
Small little pair of furry little hands.
Bonnie definitely sees that and tries to bat at the bag.
Jerry, why don't you act under pressure to try and keep Panger away from your bag?
Oh dear.
Big giant 5-pound paw.
Am I rolling both d6?
2d6 at once, yep.
2d6 at once. A total of 4. 3 and a 1.
Plus your cool?
Plus my cool, 5.
Okay, still a failure.
Okay, great.
Bonnie, you are actually able to get the bag away from Jerry.
Yes.
Hey! You stop that. You leave Chickpea alone.
Jerry, let her have it.
So what are you doing, Bonnie? Are you dragging the bag around the shop for a while?
No, but Bonnie's trying to get in the bag, flip open the flap and get inside the bag.
I like the idea that the bag is open and she's just walking with it on her head around the shop.
Yes.
Yeah, it's 100% what's going on.
No, Bonnie, come back. Bonnie, over here. Over here.
So once you get your head and paws up into the bag, you see the surprised, wide-eyed face of Chickpea Clarice Garbanzo, the puckwudgie companion of Jerry who helps him deliver the mail.
heavy quotes around the word helps.
Yeah.
Like I said, United States postal attempt.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm more concerned that somebody would actively hand Jerry a bag of mail.
Here you go.
You're good. Go on. Go for it.
They convince whoever it is somehow. This is the mail I'm looking for.
You run around the shop with the mailbag over your head, bumping into stacks of books and toppling some of the more precarious piles.
Bonnie's very excited to see the puckwudgie, which is a distant cousin of hers, and is really excited to try and play with her. But the bag has gotten all tangled, and the strap is beneath her and tucked in between one of the legs. I bump into stacks of books, all the while chittering and making that bird-like chitter in the bag.
Jerry just leans both arms against the counter and just puts his head in one hand. Every single time.
Never a dull moment at Derby Square Books.
No, certainly not.
You gotta get a backpack, man.
Oh, please.
That shit's way easier to hang on to, man. Come on.
And yet messenger bags are far more stylish.
And then Bonnie falls over on her side because she's stuck and trapped.
And far more fun to watch that happen with.
And so eventually you run into a pile of books that, when it comes down, winds up burying you, Bonnie. And the mailbag sort of picks itself up and then scurries back over to Jermid.
Come on, Chickpea.
As you crawl your way out of the book pile, Bonnie, there is another ding, 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 as someone else comes into the shop. She is this older woman wearing thick tortoiseshell sunglasses with a somewhat pointed nose and gray hair tied back by a little headscarf.
Oh, no.
She's wearing an old Patriots sweatshirt with what are probably coffee stains at the cuffs. She's got an iced drink of some kind from Dunkin' in one hand, and in her other arm, she has this woven basket that is packed with a few worn-looking old books. with dog-eared corners, lots of wrinkles on the cover, and scuffed edges. Well, you're certainly all having a fun time today, aren't you, Malcolm? Nana Margie, this friendly and frequent patron, has arrived.
Aww.
And Malcolm actually stands up to walk over and greet her. He takes her hand and gives it a little kiss and says, "Always good to see you, Margie. What have you got for me today?" And she says, well, I brought you these. I think the kids might get a real kick out of them." And she hands over these fragile-looking paperbacks, which appear to maybe be some very old romance novels. And they don't even really have art on the cover, but they all have very spicy titles for the time they seem to be coming from.
Oh, God. The steam on my bosom.
Oh, wow.
Part 5.
Her ankles in moonlight.
Ankles in moonlight.
The shape of knees.
Malcolm smirks and nods. "Why don't we put these in the upstairs section?" And as Malcolm takes the books and starts to head for the stairs, Nana Margie looks at you, Quentin, and hands you one end of this leash and says, "Quentin, would you look after Blueberry for a moment?" And we see at the other end of this leash a small female wood duck. Blueberry.
Yay.
Yeah, I would not mind at all. There are like the stage lights that appear. There's just like a single spotlight on Blueberry.
Yeah, it's that My Hero thing of whooshing, Blueberry, quirk, being a duck.
Quirk, cute as fuck.
Cute.
I like how that rhymed. Nice little limerick.
Yeah, Q picks her up and gives her a little cuddle and just like kind of holds her as he like walks around the shop.
Oh, no. Oh, Bonnie is following around, anxiously waiting to rub up against Blueberry because, unbeknownst to all, Bonnie is absolutely in love with Blueberry.
Q does not put Blueberry down because he knows this.
Yeah, a couple of her blue iridescent underwing feathers are tucked away as keepsakes in Bonnie's cardboard box bed.
Blueberry's still asymmetric in her feathers after that. She normally has a goofy cowlick, but this is like,
Oh, yeah.
this is code red cowlick. I mean, that sandpaper tongue will do it to you.
Quentin, could you read a bad situation?
Okay, all right. Ooh, baby. That is a 12.
All right.
12. Okay. Now, your characters have not leveled up enough to have access to the advanced effects of a 12 plus, but you can still ask me 3 questions from the list.
Oh, Jesus. Do I even have 3 questions for you? Is there something approaching the bookshop that I can feel?
There is not, but the thing that catches your eye is the very animated but hushed conversation that seems to be happening between Malcolm and Nana Margie upstairs. They've been known to whisper and talk and joke with each other from time to time, but there's just no sense of their usual playfulness or jovial banter. Whatever they're talking about, it must be pretty serious.
Okay. Can I make out any of the words that they're saying specifically? Any words that come to mind?
I would say if you wanted to, you could go halfway up the stairs and maybe try to overhear a part of this conversation.
Yeah, he'll with Blueberry in arm, we'll like kind of head up halfway up the staircase. He knows that there's a couple of stairs that are super creaky, so he avoids those ones in particular.
What you catch as you try to remain inconspicuous on the stairs is Nana Margie saying, "I'm worried, Malcolm. This thing is getting bolder every day." "I trust you'll come up with some sort of solution, Marge. You always do." "Yeah, I've got some stuff cooking. You just be careful, all right?" "Of course. We'll lock the shop up tight and stay in tonight. See if I can't find a clue in the old scripts." "See that you do. This thing is more slippery than blueberry at bath time." "Well, thank you for the books, Margie." And Malcolm sets the old romance novels on a shelf, and the two of them head to return downstairs.
Q meets them on the staircase. Oh, hi, Nana Margie. I was holding on to Blueberry for you.
"Thanks, kid.
I'll carry her now. You can go ahead and put her right here in the basket. Thanks for watching her.
Oh, Blueberry's in the basket.
Yeah, no problem. He like brings Blueberry up into his face and just like gives her a little nuzzle and then puts her in the basket.
Ugh.
Her little beak just pecks and taps at your cheek as you
Ow.
do that.
Ow.
Whack, whack. And so Nana Margie will make her way to the door, picking up her Dunkin' milkshake or whatever it is from the counter.
It's a culotta.
A mocha colada.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, I got some shopping to do so I can whip up some soup. Come on, Blueberry.
And the two of them will leave the shop.
Bonnie runs after her until the door closes and then looks forlornly at the door because she didn't get to cuddle with Blueberry today. Her ears droop, her tail sags, and she walks sadly back to the desk, clearly distraught.
Cherry's just laughing and shaking his head at Bonnie's slight misfortune. But only slight misfortune. Don't worry, Bon, you'll get him next time.
Bonnie lays across the entire desk and flops over on her side and sighs heavily.
Why are you so dramatic all the time, Bonnie?
Bonnie, if you wanted, there is a little cat door to the shop. You could pop out and follow Nana Margie and Blueberry if you wanted to say goodbye or talk to them yourself.
Oh, a little cat door? Okay. It would be funny if it was just slightly too small.
Bonnie is a liquid.
Yeah. It's fine. Absolutely.
I like that even with Bonnie's nature, she still chooses to go through the cat door.
Yes. Yeah, you know what? I think I will. I think after a little while of moping openly on the counter, she rolls off, lands on all 4 feet. There's just this huge thump, and she heads to the cat door, bolts through the cat door, gets slightly stuck at her hind legs, makes a and pops all the way through, and then heads down the path to kind of follow Nana Margie a little bit. It's like that Studio Ghibli thing where she's trotting down the street, all the cobblestones, past all the shops, and everybody knows Bonnie. So every once in a while, you'll hear like a little kid go, "Oh, look, it's Bonnie!" And she'll like, wave her tail or twitch her ears. And she hops up on one of those like old stone walls. And we watch as past one telephone pole, she walks and then disappears and then appears down the street around another telephone pole and sits and waits for Nana Margie to walk by and purrs and coos very loudly at her to get her attention.
Nana Margie is coming out of another little grocer's store, and that's when she comes across you. Still has Blueberry in the basket, now has another bag of groceries in a paper bag, and is somehow also balancing like her Dunkin' cup while carrying all this stuff as she walks along in her sweatshirt, and I think she wears like some kind of skirt. Just like a skirt with like an apron tied in the back.
One of those bohemian skirts.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Like very long.
Yeah.
Very long, all the way to the ground. But yeah, so she comes over and like sits down at a bench where you have been creeping along.
Oh, Bonnie, yeah, come have a seat with me.
Puts her ingredients down, takes out a pack of cigarettes, offers you one, but then's like,
I forgot you quit a long time ago.
yeah, lights one up.
I forgot to mention when I was in the shop, I'm expecting a visitor. Yeah, I think I don't know, it could be an old friend of yours. I'm not sure. The bones are talking, they're saying strange things to me lately.
Bonnie's ears twitch and we see her whiskers twitch a little bit as her tail starts to wag slightly. She is way more interested in the conversation now and is like staring at Nana Margie.
And she takes another sip of her culotta and she says,
Yeah, with the murders going around, I've been keeping an eye. I've been doing some work. It's a real shame. Did you hear about Mallory? That lady over at the tea stop?
Yeah, I think Bonnie, on her morning routinely walk around Salem, would have seen a newspaper or, been close to the scene.
You probably saw some ambulances and police cars outside the station.
Definitely. Bonnie solemnly nods.
Yeah.
It's a real shame. I know she was a bit of a crab, but, that ain't no reason to get killed.
She kind of just sits there quietly with you. Every once in a while, Blueberry will just like,
Quack, quack.
Oh, Blueberry. I think after a while, the camera angle shifts and we can only see Nana Margie as she's like taking a big puff of her cigarette. And when it shifts back, instead of a cat sitting on the bench, it's a young woman. And the young woman is wearing kind of archaic clothing, very form-fitting silks, arm wraps, leg wraps, bare feet, has the same green gold eyes as Bonnie, has the same, snowy white hair, and like her age, she could be anywhere between a healthy 18 or 26. It's really hard to tell. She gets mistaken as a high schooler a lot. And when the camera pans back, she's looking at Nana Margie and says, "You be careful, all right?"
Hey, you too. Look after my buddy Mal for me, He's getting up there.
Of course I will. I'll always look after him.
I'll let you know if I do get that visitor. Malcolm said he felt it too.
Do keep me in a loop, all right?
Strange times here in our old spooky city.
I wouldn't have it any other way.
That's fucking right.
She jams out her cigarette on the sidewalk. And like as she leans down to do that, and when she sits back up, you're the cat again on the bench.
Yep. She rubs up against Margie's hand as she extends it. Just a quick little pet. And gives a nice long lick over Blueberry's face. She loves Blueberry so much. And then she hops down and walks past another telephone pole and is gone.
And Nana Margie picks up her bag of groceries, her basket, makes her way off into the town. We're gonna jump ahead a little. It gets to be the evening, and Quentin Malcolm is he's been in his back office for a little while. The room that normally he doesn't let most folks into.
The back office.
The back office, yes.
Got it. Am I allowed back there yet?
You are, yeah. No, this is after your initiation. He just at one point, after Nana Margie's visit, came to you and said, "I've got some things to work on in the back. You look after the shop." And then just went back without a lot more explanation or ceremony to it.
Hey, Rachel?
Yeah. Well, what's up, Quentin?
Can you give me like 10 minutes? I gotta talk to Malcolm about something.
Sure, yeah. I got the register.
Okay, yeah, thanks. Not super quickly, but he'll hesitantly get to the back and knock on the door or on like the doorway.
It's a couple minutes. You hear the chair sort of scrape against the wooden floor in there and peeks it open. Something the matter, Quentin?
Yeah, man, I was gonna ask you the same thing. Been in there for a while. Is everything okay?
Yeah. Just doing some due diligence. And he purses his lips a little bit behind his beard. Come on in. You should know about this.
Yeah, okay.
He takes you inside, and as you get settled, he calls out to the front. "Rachel, why don't you lock up early and make sure all the doors and windows are closed up good?" "It's only 5:30, Mr. Greer." "Yeah, you get home. I know you were tired after the whole thing with the Uber driver." "All right, yeah, sure. I'll cash out and I'll see you in the morning." "Absolutely. You take care of yourself out there." And closes the door to the office. And when you're in there, Quentin, you see laid out on the desk or on the wall with some push pins are old scrolls and manuscripts. And on the table, there's a mortar and pestle and some herbs and different ingredients that you know are used for divination magic.
Just got your beard in a bunch, man. You never close the shop up early.
I'm worried about this one. You see he thumbs and takes out a sheet and lays it down, and you see an image of an emaciated corpse. It's just a sketch of one, but there's notes next to it. It's in a language that you don't know immediately. You could probably translate it if you sat down with it for a little while, because he's been teaching you these old archaic, scripts and things.
Fuck, man, a little bit of a heads up.
You're gonna need a stronger stomach than that if you're gonna be in our line of work, Quentin. He points at the notes. He says, "We're dealing with some sort of creature that's siphoning folks' life away. That could mean a lot of things, so I'm trying to cover all the bases."
Well, what do you got so far?
Well, nobody's been around when it happens. I'm not as spry as I used to be. I haven't gone down to the detective's office to try and take some evidence away from them to use in our own investigation. So I'm working just on hearsay and a lot of gossip. Folks come in, they start talking about this sort of stuff with me. Whatever it is, it's quick and seems to come out of nowhere. So I don't think it's a vampire. Haven't been vampires in this area since 1700s. But, could be some new thing. We always got to stay adaptable, stay on our toes.
Did we decide how fresh of an initiate Q is? Is this like 1 month in, he's learning all of this shit all at once?
I was going to leave that up to you, how long it's been since you, were brought into this world.
I think it's fucking hilarious if it's like he is as
very
new
fresh.
As he gets. Yeah. He is like a nice avocado.
Free shabakadoo.
He goes over some of the things he's explaining. He's like, "No, I don't want to cry demon, but demons are known for stealing life out of folks. And, a couple weeks ago, you had already gone home, but I had to keep a man from being eaten by a sort of a slime. Came up out of the cobblestones, tried to go after him. Still not sure what that was about, but, I handled it, took care of it for everyone, so."
Is that what I cleaned off of the wall the next day?
Yeah, that was what was left of it.
You could have given me a heads up, man. Come on.
You didn't have to worry about it. I already took care of it that night. All you had to do was clean the windows. It wasn't a big
I
deal.
cleaned it up, Malcolm. I touched it with my hands.
You think I didn't? He kind of pecks at one of his fingernails a little bit, as if just remembering the experience has him ugh.
Yeah, okay.
So yeah, he's telling you that he's worried that these series of deaths are something that you're gonna have to deal with together. But Rachel is out in the store. She pulls the shades down over the two, storefront windows, has her key, which she has, but you don't. It's weird. And goes and locks the front of the shop. She heads down the street and we see some birds gathering in the trees on the street outside.
No.
Natalie, I swear to God.
No.
Bonnie.
I'm outside.
You're outside. You sense there's something wrong.
Oh.
You're not sure what it is, but there's something about the air outside that doesn't feel right to you.
I don't like it at all. We can see that the cat, wherever she is, just stops in her tracks, and the hairs on the back of her shoulder blades start to slowly rise, and her pupils start to turn into small slits.
Yeah.
And she kind of just looks around to try and find the general direction of where the wrong is.
It's everywhere.
I hate it.
But you hear a whistling, just a merry tune and some footsteps. And Jerry, you return having brought a 6-pack and some cheesy fries or something.
It's some hard, local craft hard cider 6-pack.
Yeah, it's some ciders and some snacks. You and Malcolm have a game night every week where you come and play chess together or something. And so you're just headed back to the shop because he'll be closing soon. And, you figure you can hang out there until it's time. And so, Bonnie, you see your nemesis, Jermid, coming down the street.
Nemesis.
I don't think she immediately interacts with him. In fact, I think she's just stock still, standing wherever she is. I think if Jerry's not paying attention, he'll actually trip over Bonnie.
I think he would notice you, for sure.
Yeah. Bon, what's wrong?
She's just looking around, just slowly panning, ears like little discs, just moving, her head on a swivel. Her tail is not erect like it normally is when she's happy. It is like
Puffed out.
it's puffed out and it's completely parallel.
Yep.
And she's just standing, feeling like a little weather vane.
We see the two of you sort of silhouetted as the sun dips down and down and down in the harbor, a little ways off. For a moment, making Bonnie appear like a black cat because of the lighting difference.
Oh, that's so cool.
As the warm golden light sort of pans across this square where the bookshop is located. Yeah, there's just this sense of something ominous nearby. Here. Just the cooing of a few pigeons. They waddle by. A couple crows land on an eave somewhere else.
Oh, I'm loving the Foley.
The camera sees Bonnie and she growls, but Jerry, you can hear her. Something ain't right. There's something foul, wicked in the air.
It sort of tracks for this town.
It would if it was fall.
If you're picking something up, then...
Something wicked this way comes.
Oh, you know I hate it when you say that.
I'm always right, aren't I?
Aye, that's why I hate it.
Better get back to the shop.
Right.
In fast pace, you just see her bounding.
Yeah, you guys run back to Derby Bookstore. The door is locked. The cat door is open, so you could get in through there, Bonnie, if you wanted to.
Yeah.
Jerry, you also.
Jerry just kind of like stares looking at the cat door as Bonnie walks through and is like, God damn it.
I think she walks in and then a solid 30 seconds pass and then Bonnie pokes out her head and looks up at you and is like, are you coming? Come on.
All right, fine. And the camera like pans by a lamppost, and where Jerry once stood is now this little all black fur, big red-eyed lemur looking thing.
Yep.
With like his satchel bag still kind of loosely hanging around it as he climbs in through the cat door, and the satchel bag gets stuck and he has to like
fold it and tug it and
yeah, exactly. Come on now, Chickpea, you could at least help me out.
We could see the outside and the outside door. We could see the bag there, and like the little hands are like trying to pull it.
Yeah, exactly.
As you're trying to pull the bag and being like, Chickpea, could you help? You see on like the window seat area, this little like sparkle of green and gold light swirls, and Chickpea's form just kind of leaps out of nowhere.
Yeah.
As they just magically pass through the wall of the building and go scurry up behind the cash register and just sort of peek their head out.
That's not what I meant.
Chickpea, who as a Puckwudgie is sort of a little elf creature with like brown fur and a little critter nose, big eyes, and then just this hair that becomes like bristles, like a porcupine or a hedgehog, just down their back. They wear little like clothes made of leaves.
Adorable.
Yeah.
Friendship.
Friend-shaped for sure. Yeah, Quentin, we cut back to you and Malcolm in the bookstore back room. Why don't you investigate a mystery?
Ooh, yeah.
All right. That is a 9.
On a 7 to 9, one hold can be spent to ask the keeper one of the following questions. So you get to ask one question on that list.
Let's see. Yeah, where did it go? Is it still here? Is it like still outside still?
You have no idea, actually. So maybe that's a little bit of meta creeping in. Do you want to change your question? Because you don't know that there's anything going on outside.
Sure.
You just know that Malcolm is like researching and trying to figure out what's causing the murders.
Got it.
Your senses are not as like tuned into the supernatural as Bonnie and Jeremy's are.
Let's do what can it do? Because he probably knows what it has been doing.
You just want like a recap of like what has happened to the people then?
Yeah, well, like I'm passing on that information to Q.
Sure. You see that there are news articles in the office. So Malcolm's been watching this for a little bit, and some of it is just notes written from people saying like, I found this person and they were basically a husk, just completely dried out, like they'd been cooked or mummified almost, and left with this sort of like horrific look on their face, just shriveled and laying out somewhere. There's news of like a woman found in her house, dead for who knows how long, but like conflicting reports of like, I saw her the week before. She was fine.
Malcolm, does it seem like any of these cases are connected at all? Like, is there any thread that connects them?
Well, the nature of how they died all seems to be connected and
No, not in the way they died, but the people themselves.
That's a little trickier. Just roll again, since this is a sort of different question you're asking. But basically, the answer to your last one is, what can it do? It seems to be sucking the life out of people. And Malcolm describes this as a thing that's very common for demons to do.
That is one better. I got a 10.
Nice.
A 10. Now you can ask 2 of the questions on the list. One of them, I guess, will have to relate to whether the people are connected at all.
Yeah, so whether the people are connected, and does he know anyone else that knows of what's happening? Maybe doesn't know specifically what it is, but is familiar.
Sure. Yeah, he says to you, as far as I can tell, there's nothing in particular tying the victims together. They are all from different walks of life, different ages, different backgrounds and occupations, that sort of thing. They're all adults. Young, old, doesn't seem to make a difference. And as far as who else knows, Nana Margie's aware. And that I think would be news to you, Quentin, that Nana Margie is like in on this world.
Yeah.
But makes sense a little now that you like think about it.
Is she like, like, is she?
She's not part of the Whispered, no. Nana Margie's been around a long time. Longer than me. It's a bit like Bonnie in a way.
Holy shit, that's a long time.
Gives you like a raised eyebrow.
What, man? You're old as fuck.
Hoping to live longer. Pangerbon, Jermid the Puka, you guys are out in the shop with Chickpea.
Mm-hmm.
There starts to be a fluttering outside, like the wind's kicking up. If you creep out past the shade, you can see leaves swirling on the cobblestone. The sun has now finally dipped below, and the last rays of it wink out as it passes beyond the horizon. And you hear that cawing and rustling of feathers again, and then rattling against the windows.
Can I read a bad situation?
Yeah, you can.
All right, so that's -1.
Oh boy.
So I got a 10.
A 10, though?
Yeah, still a 10.
Nice. Okay. A 10 gets you 3 questions.
Brilliant. What's the best way to protect any sort of victims?
You would know that the lights in the shop were on, so you would think Malcolm is still around.
Right.
And amongst your group, you know he's the most capable at dealing with problems and monsters, despite his age.
Cool.
So probably contacting Malcolm would be one thing, or also leaving this place
Right.
might be an option. But again, you'd have to go outside where the potential danger is. So,
are there any dangers that we haven't noticed besides the birds?
that seems to be the main thing of it.
Yeah, that's the biggest issue. There's nothing kind of like hiding, using that as a distraction.
Glancing out the window, you do see this swarm of birds now. And when I say swarm, it is not even taking on the appearance of like a flock of birds flying in unison. They are more like birds that are flying like a bee swarm.
Ooh.
Very chaotic, very like unnatural in their flight patterns and the way and like congregation of them sort of forming this tornado of bird.
Very Hitchcock in nature.
Yes, very Hitchcock.
And then what would be our best way out? Is there like perhaps a secret exit in the shop that would be used in times of emergency?
You'd have to ask Malcolm.
Okay.
You've never been in the shop like in a time of danger, so you're not sure. As far as you know, the door is the only exit in and out.
Right.
It is an older building, so like it was built before fire codes and like extra exits and things like that were sort of standardized.
Yeah.
And because it's on one of these like shop lengths of the town, it's just built into a building, and maybe like the back wall is the back wall of a building facing the other way out towards the harbor.
Right, exactly.
Got you. Okay.
Yeah. Jerry's gonna shift back into human form and start heading towards the back office.
Okay. Yeah.
And I imagine following Bonnie in that direction.
She's not going to head to the back door. She's actually going to head upstairs, go through a little crawl space, and in this small area tucked away in like a kind of like a loft, like above the second floor, is all sorts of ancient books. These are Bonnie's personal books. And I'm going to use Haven for my mystical library to see if I can find what is happening, what is going on.
Yeah, why don't you investigate a mystery then?
All right. So I am really bad at sharp. I have a -1 at sharp.
Soft.
Very soft. But since I'm using my mystical library, I get to take a forward +1 when I use my magic. So I have a 6.
A 6?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, no.
Oh, no.
Okay. A 6 is a failure.
Oof.
On a 6, you reveal information to the monster or to whoever you're talking to, and I, as keeper, get to ask you questions.
Oh, fuck.
Oh, boy.
Ah, fuck. All right.
I don't know that I even need to ask questions, but I do think that as you scurry away from the window and like looking out, that alone is enough to reveal an important bit of information to this threat outside, which I will reveal in a moment. But Jerry, you were going back to the office to contact Malcolm.
Yeah, absolutely. So just like Malcolm, we've got trouble outside. Malcolm, Q?
Jerry.
Jerry, what's going on?
We've got issues. Something spooked Bonnie hard, and the birds outside are acting very strange.
In fact, you can hear now impacts on the windows of the shop as the birds are just pounding up against it.
Oh, God.
You hear the soft swish of feathers, but also just the impact of small bodies hitting the glass.
Oh, God.
And Malcolm's eyes go wide. Get everyone to the oubliette.
Right.
He calls that to you, Quentin, and you know that there is a safe room built into the wall of this back office that can be just dead-bolted, closed.
Is that what we call it?
That's what it is, Q.
We gotta find a better name. Hang on. Where's my backpack?
Less thinking, more moving. Let's go.
Shut up, Jerry. I gotta get my book.
Malcolm takes his coat off and rests it on his chair, and you see he starts rolling up his sleeves, and the tattoos, which start at his wrist and wrap the entire length of his arm, start to glow. And he goes over behind the desk and takes like this old looking staff, just like an old wood walking stick out.
Oh, yeah.
And he says, Quentin, I need you to look after everyone for me.
Malcolm.
Bonnie!
Through the ceiling is just this, almost like a drop of ink, through water, but it's all misty, shadowy smoke. And when she lands in her human form, and she stands next to Malcolm.
Bonnie, as you land, Malcolm looks relieved that you're inside at least. And then you both look back at the door and starting to push the little cat door forward. These feathery wings and bird feet and bird heads and claws. And Malcolm takes a deep inhale. Bonnie, my sweet girl, you gotta get back into the safe room.
I'm not gonna leave you.
I think they might be here for me, but I'm not gonna let them take the rest of you. Go.
Oh, God.
This bird swarm just pours through the opening in the door. and starts to spiral up in the ceiling, knocking books over. It's now raining books as the birds start to fill every crevice of this place. There's a horrible din and a cacophony of wings as they...
Oh, God.
Q is like, you see him kneeling down on the floor, like digging through his bag, and he's like, hold on, and he pulls out his book, a relatively thick old book, and I would like to use magic.
Okay. Roll and use magic then.
That is 13.
13.
Whew.
All right. No glitch. You pick what you do. What are you attempting to do?
He's like flipping through a couple of pages and he's like looking up and watching what's happening. He's like, oh shit, okay. And he throws his hand forward and a bunch of the books that were sitting on the like featured display up at the front, if you could consider it a featured display, start to like impact their way and form what looks like a brick wall.
Ooh, yeah, nice.
Nice.
That's so cool.
Very nice.
Quentin throws his hand forward, and we see that there on his wrist is a similar tattoo to Malcolm's, the signature starting tattoo of a whispered initiate. It starts off, it's just black ink, and then it becomes sort of a dull orange glow, which then turns to white hot as its magic activates. And the books start to, again, form this barrier. Are you attempting to bar a place?
Yes.
Okay. So you throw the books up. The bird swarm, whatever this thing is still pouring in through the cat door. It doesn't seem like it's going to run out anytime soon, but you have at least put up something in front of Bonnie and Malcolm.
Bonnie, come on.
I'd like to use my sight
Sure.
and kind of use my own magic here.
Mm-hmm.
I want to create a kind of like threshold almost around Malcolm, just to give him some extra protection.
Are you going to use magic then?
Yeah, I'm going to use magic.
Okay.
So because I used my Mystic Library, I get +1. And yeah, here we go. 13.
Also no glitch.
Yes!
And what is the effect you're going for?
I'm trying to create a threshold barrier that while Malcolm is in his office, the birds can't get past the door. They can't get past the window. Like, they cannot get physically into that room. So I've created a sort of secondary safe room.
Okay.
Specifically for him.
Yep.
And I, unfortunately, I want to manipulate everybody to be like, no, let me handle it. I'm way older than all of you. I've dealt with this. So I think I want to manipulate them and just be like, listen, you boys need to get in there. Malcolm and I have got this. Don't worry about it. I'm going to try and manipulate them to go into the oubliette without me.
Okay.
10.
Oh, shit.
All right. A 10 on manipulate. If you do it to another hunter, it doesn't super matter because it applies to experience. But they would get +1 forward if they do what you ask.
Yeah.
He's not going anywhere.
If none of you are moving, then I'm going to say that this creature starts to make aggressive moves towards some of you.
That's fine. I'm ready.
So Bonnie, as you make this plea towards your friends, the birds, which are sort of butting up against this book barrier, and there's just so many of them, they start to spill over it and through the cracks in it and around and up over the ceiling. And in fact, they start to pour out of the drop ceiling tiles of like the roof, like where there's openings for those signs to hang. They just
Okay. I hate it.
and start to swarm around you. They're going to do some harm.
Okay.
Okay.
You will take 2 harm, ignore armor.
I am immortal, so I take 1 harm less. So I only take 1.
All right. They sort of just start to swirl at you, not pecking you, but just their presence around you. You start to feel your essence being drawn out of you and fed upon.
Ooh.
That's not okay.
Yeah.
Ugh. Yeah, I think I want to use my sight here and see if it's the birds actually doing it, or if
There's
it's
something using
a
the
spirit
birds,
controlling the birds, if there's like another person or thing.
Sure. With your sight, as they get close and start to use their ability on you, Pangarban, you now suddenly feel your heart drop in your chest as you realize what this creature is.
Oh shit.
This is a slua.
Oh no.
This is a swarm of these little demons that disguise themselves as birds and rats and other like small creatures. They just go around singularly and will suck on the energy of people. And you know that like an individual slua is not really a problem. In fact, they're pretty prevalent in the New England area, which is why people need coffee so much.
I fucking love that.
Because by themselves, they just make you a little tired. You lose a little bit of your essence that day. It builds up over time again.
Evan, that's why you're so tired all the time. You've got multiple sluas on you.
For some reason, these have swarmed. And when they swarm is when they get dangerous and can kill a person, which you gather now has been what's happening in your city and the surrounding area.
Okay.
And that's what you know. You know slua are incredibly dangerous and sort of an unstoppable force once they get going.
Yep.
Because of this insatiable hunger they have for life essence.
I think as the birds are swarming and the flapping of wings and feathers, she tries really hard to shout, "Slua! It's a slua!" just to warn them.
Yeah. Malcolm turns and he's gonna push you back into the room, Quentin.
What? No. Malcolm, come on. Please.
Can I? Because I think Jerry's also trying to get Q back into the room.
Mm-hmm.
Can I use my power of the heart
Sure.
to sort of assist, like, now that Jerry knows what they are, like, familiar with their nature and their magic, just hold his hand out and pull Q back with me into the room?
Mm-hmm. I think Chickpea climbs up onto your shoulder and also starts to like use her little hands to tug at the sleeve of Q's shirt.
Yeah.
Like she doesn't speak. She's just too small to be heard.
Q is like flipping through this book, furiously trying to find something.
Malcolm kneels down and just puts his hand on the pages that you're flipping through and gently closes it and presses it into your chest. And he says, "There isn't a spell for the slua that we know how to do here, boy. Get back into the room."
Come on, Q. Let them handle it. And we'll trust that they're not going to do anything stupid.
Bonnie, you know that in the olden days, people would say that slua would come for sinners.
Yeah.
People who had done wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And you see Malcolm turns, and there's just sort of this grave seriousness to his expression. He looks back at you for a second, and then turns back to Quentin. They're not going to go until they get somebody. I know I haven't known each other long, and I've just started training you. But it's got to be me. I'm the one that drew them here.
That sounds like a lot of bullshit, man.
They're after somebody bad. I've done some bad things in my life.
Malcolm.
He taps the start of the whispered tattoo on his wrist. This is a curse, boy. I know I told you I'd give you power, but it's a curse. You're going to be forced to do things you don't want to do. You're going to have to make hard choices. I'm making one right now. And he shoves you back into the room. And then he stands, his tattoos start to glow white, and he strides over to the slua that are sort of swarming around you, Bonnie, channels some magic into his walking staff, and just bats them away as if he was like driving away a dog from his cat.
Jerry's gonna crack open one of the ciders and hand it to Malcolm and crack open one for himself.
I love it. He will take it, clink it together, takes a sip. You know, I don't think this technically counts as game night.
For old time's sake, friend.
Take care of my guy.
Will do.
And then he will kneel next to you, Bonnie. He throws his staff on the ground. It creates this like bling, sort of white shielding above you, and just puts his hand gently on your cheek as you weakly push yourself up.
She's got like peck marks, like she's closing one eye.
All scratched up a bit.
All scratched up. Spits out a feather.
Bonnie, my sweet girl.
Don't do it.
They're not going to be satisfied till they get a meal. You know this.
Please, you can't.
I need you to look after them, okay? Go see Nana Margie. She'll know what to do. She's working on something. Just wasn't enough time.
Don't go where I can't follow. Please.
I've had a good life, Bon. Now go on. Be a good girl now.
Oh, damn you. And she shifts into cat form as one of the crows like tries to dive, and she just bats it like in the face.
He fully grinds it under his heel as he steps up, and it just turns into black dust as this one little tiny spirit is destroyed.
She hops up into his arms, gives him a really big cat hug, and then hops off his shoulder into the room.
As you hop off past the barrier that you've made, it glows with a silver white light, and Malcolm raises his cider to all of you, pours a little bit out on the ground, smashes it, and turns back with his staff. All right, you bastards. You want somebody bad, you're gonna get them. And throws his tattoos together, which burst in this white flash. Whoosh, and the entire bookstore is rocked. You hear the front windows shatter outward. Books tumble in an avalanche. Power goes out on the street lamps. They just crackle and wink out, wink out, wink out. Silence hangs in the air once everything goes dark. And after 30 minutes or so, the energy of the barrier vanishes, and your group of hunters can emerge.
Like all three of us, with the same speed and determination, burst out of the room.
Yeah, absolutely.
At the front of the shop, in that window display with the old chair that would normally be too full of books for anyone other than Bonnie to sit, you find Malcolm, sitting in the chair with his eyes closed and his wooden staff lightly resting in one hand across his lap.
Jerry's gonna cover Chickpea's eyes.
What have you done?
Is there any way that I can use magic to save him?
He is gone.
Oh.
But he isn't a desiccated corpse like the other victims of the Slua. In fact, there are small piles of ash all around, which are quickly vanishing as if blown away by an invisible wind. Malcolm looks calm and at rest, and you can see the light of his tattoos still glowing faintly on his arms, perhaps some last residual magic trying vainly to heal him and keep him alive. But you also see, through his simple shirt, a bright spark of light over his heart. And if you gently unbutton his shirt, you can see that emblazoned over his heart, flickering like a dying candle, is another version of the Whispered Crest. The same mark you have on your wrist, Quentin. The same mark which all Whispered members are given when they join the Order. Whatever magic Malcolm drew on to defeat this swarm seems to have pushed his magical tattoos to their final limit. And so he denied the Slua their meal by burning up his own essence in one last magical attack to protect you all.
Hugh goes over and rests his hand on Malcolm's shoulder.
His grip loosens on the walking stick and it falls with an overdramatic thud.
You see for the first time in human form, just silver tears just on her cheeks as she's crumpled in front of the chair with her head up against his knee, just softly crying.
Yep.
Jerry puts a hand on Bonnie's shoulder and just kind of grips it tight.
Yep.
Oh.
The police have come. Someone heard the explosion, reported it, and then, of course, the power went out. So they're investigating and going around. They see it's been another attack. They're asking you all sorts of questions, but of course, what can you tell them? There would be nothing you could explain that would make any sense to them.
When the police show up, Panger is a cat again. She cannot be bothered to be a human right now.
Quentin, you're kind of left as the only actual human in the group, being asked questions like, did you see what happened? Was it a gas leak? Was there a fire? Should we turn off the supply to this block? That kind of stuff.
He's too stunned to say much of anything. He's just sitting next to Malcolm.
Mm-hmm.
Can I roll to manipulate and just let the cops know that it's unfortunate accident. There was an electrical surge. It seems to have passed now. Malcolm tried to fix it and it backfired.
Sure. Yeah. Roll manipulate. We'll see how you do.
We'll see. 8, 9, 10, 11.
Yeah, they accept your story. The police all know you, right?
Yeah.
They're like, oh yeah, Jerry was here. We trust him.
Yeah.
And so they're finishing things up. They cordon off the storefront with some yellow tape, crime scene investigation. They eventually, paramedics come over and lift Malcolm gently onto a stretcher and pull the sheet over his face.
It takes a long time to get the cat out of Malcolm's lap, but eventually she does hop down and go to hang with Quentin.
As they load him into the back of the ambulance, we see a dark car parked across the other side of the street. And there are two figures standing outside of it, like they've just gotten out. Bonnie, as you are cat weeping, maybe just like cuddling up on his walking stick or like his favorite book or something, or even wrapped in his brown overcoat.
Yeah, like on the chair.
Yeah, you sense something. You haven't sensed this energy in centuries. You see approaching from across the street as the police start to finally pull away, the lights dim, the power is coming back on, and as the light lamppost outside the bookstore finally clicks back on again, you see walking out of the shade and into the cast light of it is a tall man with sort of dusty blonde hair, he's a little unshaven, wearing a long beige overcoat on top of a black suit. And next to him is a shorter woman, very gaunt and pale, almost as if she has like whiteout makeup on her face. Heavy, dark eyeshadow around the eyes. Also in a very fitted suit and a sword the size of her just slung onto her back.
Okay, all right.
The man reaches into his pocket, takes his badge out, and says, "Howdy. My name's Max Spiegel. This is my partner, Hillary Ross. We're with the Eastie Agency. We'd like to talk to you folks if we could have a moment of your time." And Bonnie, you're not even paying attention to what this person is saying. Next to him, Agent Ross, with your sight, you see that sword on her back is glowing spectral and blue, and that there is a spirit tied into that sword of one of the Tuatha De Danann.
Ugh.
Oh my God, what?
Hugh stands up as he's still shaking, but he instinctually is holding on to this staff. Like it helps himself up with it, stands there, gripping it super fucking tightly.
Sort of the picture of a young wizard with your hat and your little shawl and now your staff to go along with it.
And you're familiar.
And your many familiars creeping around you protectively. Hello, adventurers. Thanks for joining us for the start of our crossover mini-series. It was such a blast to record these episodes with some of our friends who are making their own podcasts and weave our stories together in a lighthearted, soft canon sort of way. This episode in particular is unique in that the cast of the Writer's Room made original characters for their one-shot.
Yeah, we don't play Monster of the Week, so we kind of needed to.
Surprise! I've got Evan here with me for the mid-reel.
Hi, everybody.
Yeah, Evan, how you been? That first half, right?
I can't tell you how excited I am about this entire thing. You know, but the good people don't know yet.
That's right. All the adventurers and what are your listeners called? Hands of the Rose?
I guess there are hands.
If you don't know yet, the Writer's Room is a 7th Sea podcast, and their game is all about pirates. Let's listen to your promo so we can hear a little bit more about what your show's like.
Sure, let's do it.
Hello there. Come on in, friend. Welcome. Have a seat. My name is Zoe Jackson.
I'm Evan Ackley.
And I am Patrick Keefe.
And we are the Writer's Room. What's the Writer's Room, you might ask? Well, it's a place where all the tales of 7th Sea are told. 7th Sea is a tabletop RPG system published by Chaosium Inc. and created by John Wick Presents. We are an actual play podcast showcasing adventure, drama, and swashbuckling heroism, as well as teaching you how to play 7th Sea in segments called Notes with the Narrator. And I hope you like pirates because our first story takes place out on the high seas. I could keep going, but I'll let Evan and Patrick introduce their characters.
Hello there. I am Captain Jesse Nakansa of La Rosa Blanca. Born in the heart of a hurricane to the infamous Rose of the Atabean, I spent many years under the black flag of the White Rose, making a name for myself in this sea of monsters. Now, Captain of the Rose myself, the winds fill my sails with purpose. No pirate, ATC scum, or devil will get in my way.
Greetings. My name is Waylon Greywall, and I am the Master-at-Arms on La Rosa Blanca. Once an orphan on the shores of Avalon, I've traded the colors of my country's flag for those of the White Rose. As her eagle-eyed marksman, I seek not fame, but merely to aid my new home amongst the waves. With deadly precision, I leave naught but salt and soot in my wake, along with a lifetime's worth of regret.
Friends, if you're interested in learning more about our podcast and the stories that we tell, head on over to our link tree, which will be in the description for this episode. That will bring you to your favorite podcatcher and to our social medias, as well as our Ko-fi page and our partnerships and sponsors who help us. Thank you for visiting. And remember, be safe and well.
Hey, I'm promoting here.
I love your piratey story. Evan, where can people find you and Zoe and Patrick online for more Writers Room stuff?
Golly, Natalie, you asked a great question.
I probably should have asked it before so you could be prepared.
That's totally fine. I'm great at this. People can find us on Twitter at WritersRoom7th. That's the number 7th. WritersRoom 7th. And they can find us on Instagram at WritersRoom 7th C. That's, once again, the number 7th C. I'm sure we could probably toss our link tree in the...
Yeah, I'll throw you in our show notes so everything's easy to get to.
Yeah.
If you're here for the first time as a fan of the Writers Room, thanks for coming. I hope you'll consider checking out the Storyteller Squad's main campaign, where our group of heroes get into more supernatural encounters like this one. You might even start to understand some of the Easter eggs I've been dropping for our regular listeners if you stick with us long enough. You can find myself and the squad on Twitter at StorySquadCast, and we have a channel in the Cast Junkie Discord server, along with several other shows, including the other podcasts that worked on this series with us. Come say hi and join us for more magical fun.
If you like this episode and want to help our shows out, you can listen and leave a review for us on the podcatcher of your choice. Reviews and word-of-mouth recommendations are some of the best ways you can help support podcast creators who you enjoy.
And that's all I've got this week. I'm just excited to get back into this story. So I will see you all here next time with episode 2 of this series and a new batch of hunters and another exciting monster-filled mystery. Take care, adventurers. We'll see you next time.
Thanks, adventurers!
You are all standing outside of the now half-exploded Derby Square bookstore as these two mysterious agents have approached you. What do y'all do?
Hi. I'm Quentin. I work here. Who are you? What are you doing here?
You see Mac flips his badge closed and pockets it again. Reaches into like his jacket pocket and takes out like a Snickers. You're looking a mite pale there, kid. Have some of this. You'll feel a little better. My name's Mac. I'm a special agent with an agency designed to handle this sort of thing. My partner, Hillary Ross, she's, well, we have an interest in what's been going on lately in this town. You mind answering a few questions about what went down here?
No, I don't mind.
And before Mac can like continue his very polite and Texan charming way of asking you stuff, Ross just steps up and gets a little close to you. And she says, how did they get in?
Bonnie instinctively, as the cat, jumps up from somewhere and has her front paws on Quentin's shoulders and like leans in as if like a back the fuck off.
Jerry's gonna come up from the right. Easy now. Lad's had a bit of a rough time tonight.
When you put your face right up close to hers, Bonnie, Ross's eyes flick to you, then go wide, and suddenly she grabs her head and kind of stumbles back and just leans on the lamppost. And Mac goes to like help her, but she's like, I'm fine. Just, I need a minute.
Jerry just kind of side-eyes Bonnie.
Bonnie does not blink.
Came in through the front door.
Smashed through the windows. There were quite a number of them.
Yeah, we've got a contact we've been reporting back to since we got into town. That sounds like what happened at the other places. Of course, we're too late to get to those, too. It's hard to track this thing down. Just seems to sort of show up out of nowhere. I'm not sure what it's after. I haven't been able to link a pattern together.
Well, we could probably answer that, unless you don't know what it is yet.
Do you know what it is?
And Jerry just kind of looks at Q and Bonnie. It's a slua.
And Mac takes out a little notebook, starts writing that down.
It's a demon, feasts on negative emotions, goes after folks who haven't exactly lived the cleanest of lives.
All right. He starts flipping through his notebook of notes.
Usually appears as a large flock of birds. Strange thing is that they don't usually appear as the same individual birds.
I'm not going to like talk much about the like game mechanics I'm having Mac and Hillary roll for, but he just rolled Investigate a Mystery and is using that with his notes.
Gotcha.
And so he goes through all his notes and then he like looks at, he's in front of a bookstore. He's like, is this some kind of front with your boss? Was he like selling stuff on the side or something? Or like, this piece doesn't fit if that's the case.
Not quite.
Bonnie's hackles start to raise.
Easy now, Bon.
She starts to have that undertone growl going on.
Mm-hmm.
She's actually not staring at the agent. She's staring at the woman carrying the sword.
Yeah.
I think Jerry hasn't noticed that at all. That's completely gone over his head.
Yeah, I think, Bonnie, you just, again, as you're looking and your sight is like active, you're really channeling your power to like get a read on this woman. The person, Hillary, is like clutching at her temple and kind of just steadying herself as she tries to not lose her footing. The spirit within the sword itself is standing to the side. It's hard to make out distinct features, but their eyes are just locked on you, staring back intensely.
Okay. It says I can communicate, maybe even make deals with spirits I see, so I'd like to say something to it.
Sure.
If you come bearing ill intent, you'll find a lot more trouble here than you bargained for.
You don't get any words back. You see it nod and turn away from you and back into the sword, which just glows still in your vision. To everyone else, this sword is like 6 to 8 inches wide, strapped onto Ross's back with one belt, but then the rest of it is wrapped in other belts and straps of cloth. There's like no scabbard for it to sit in.
That's a wide-ass sword.
Yeah, it's like a huge buster sword.
Awesome.
And the whole thing is maybe like a solidly 6 foot long weapon. And like Ross is 5'8", 5'10", so it's taller than her if you were like stand it tip to end, but luckily it's at an angle so it can like sit there.
I just basically just wanted to say, hey, whatever bullshit you're pulling, knock it the fuck off.
Yeah, once the spirit turns away and goes back into the sword, Ross stands up again, straightens her collar a little bit, and then comes back to stand beside Spiegel and continue to like talk to Quentin. She says, I'm gonna look around inside if that's all right with all of you.
Depends on where you're looking.
Yeah, I'm not sure I can let you do that.
Spiegel puts the pen in his book, folds it away, puts it in his pocket. He says, well, now we're not one to be rude, but we are trying to stop this thing. If you've got any information on it that might help us track it down or figure out what to do about it, please come forward.
Quentin gets up and heads into the back room. He walks in there and like huge sigh. It's like, okay, where did he put his notes? Okay. And he heads over and tries to find that some of the books and notebooks that he...
Yeah, it's all still out in the room because that room was sort of protected from the shockwave that happened when Malcolm did his final spell.
Yeah.
So it's all laid out there. You could collect it all and bring it out if you wanted to.
Yeah, he'll get it all together in his arms. And
Okay.
I have these. I don't know how much help they'll be, but maybe you'll find something.
If you gesture to offer them over, Ross will take them and start thumbing through some of the pages, looking them over. She turns to Spiegel and says, "We should show her this." And he nods and then looks to you, Quentin. He says, "Do you feel safe tonight, kid? We could put you under protective custody if you'd like. We're not sure if this thing strikes in the same place or..." I suppose a better question to ask is, do you have any reason to think this thing might come back looking for you? You get in trouble much?
Bonnie swats at him. She can't help it.
Q's a good kid.
I'll be fine. I just fucking work here. Do I technically run the sect now?
You are, as far as you know, the last surviving member of this whispered sect, yes.
You've been promoted.
Yep.
Yeah. Spiegel actually will tilt his head as he looks Quentin up and down. Did the paramedics check you out? You want me to look you over? I got a med kit in the car. You're looking a little woozy there, kid.
Yeah, he's kind of fucked up a little bit. he's got blood coming down his face and his
Shards.
His eyes probably a little swollen. Yeah, he's got all sorts of stuff.
Yeah.
His cardigan's probably got a hole or two in it.
Have a seat. I'll bring my stuff over. So Mac goes back to the car, opens the trunk of it, and takes out like a little red and white pouch with a cross on it. And he'll go over and sit down with you, Quentin. Ross is glancing in the shop. She's not entering, but she's in the doorway, just sort of like looking around at the place, making note of the different scratches and the blown out windows and that kind of stuff. You see she takes a stone out from underneath her like shirt collar, and it's this gray smooth stone in the shape of like a triangle with a hole through the center on a silver chain. And she holds that up to her eye and starts to just glance around the interior of the shop.
Oh.
Do I notice this?
You're off on the bench with Max, so you're not really privy to what she's doing.
All of my instincts here are telling me that she does not need to see my secret stash of shit.
Mm-hmm.
And so whenever I have a chance to indulge in that emotion, I must do so immediately or act under pressure. I think Bonnie tries to bite her.
Really?
Like, no, you don't get to see. You don't get to look. You go away. Like, I fucking hate you. Get the fuck away from me and my house and my territory and my life and my friends.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna kick some ass.
Okay, go ahead and kick some ass.
I'm sorry, guys. I have to. It's part of being monstrous. I have a curse.
I love it.
6?
Ooh, okay.
Oh no, okay.
When you fail kick some ass, your ass gets kicked instead.
Oh god, okay. Okay.
Well,
It's fine.
Here's what will happen, right? How do you go to attack Ross? Where are you going for? You like gonna bite her ankle or
No,
like...
she's going for her hands. She's trying to get her to not, like, as she's panning to look up where the loft would be, she's trying to get her to not look at it. Just drop the thing that she's holding.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because she knows what it is.
Yeah, you're leaping up to swat at this stone, which Pangerbon would know. It is an adder stone.
Yeah.
It reveals hidden and secret things.
Yeah. I know what you're doing. Don't appreciate it.
And so, as you leap up, you forget there's glass all over the ground, and so even your quietest, creepiest cat stealth is betrayed a little by, the tink, tink, tink of glass shards as you make your final approach.
Mm-hmm.
And Ross, out of the corner of her eye, sees you coming, drops the stone, so it just falls and swings on its chain around her neck. And rather than like attack you back to kick your ass, she deftly leans back as you sail over her, and she reaches up and grabs you by the scruff of your little cat neck.
Oh no!
And just pulls you in front of her face. Are we gonna have a fucking problem, cat?
you just see like fucking claws and teeth and spitting and just this fury of fur.
She's just got you out at arm's length, so you're
Terrible screeching.
I think Jerry hears this and is sort of laughing to himself just a little bit, and just kind of trying to find some levity in the situation at the moment.
this bit of comeuppance for your nemesis.
Well, because like he doesn't necessarily feel that way about Bonnie, but knows that she feels that way about him.
Yeah.
He's like, all right, now I know she's a bit of a spitfire, but there's no need.
Well, then you look after her, and Ross just tosses Bonnie to you.
Oh no! And Bonnie's like,
Yeah.
immediately, and Jerry's like, no, buddy, stop it!
Bonnie curls up and lands on his shoulders and just becomes this like gargoyle, like moving from shoulder to shoulder, like up on his head, just like staring daggers at this woman, like, I fucking gotcha. You turn your back on me, you're dead.
Just looks at her and he's like, you genuinely terrify me sometimes. I know.
Quentin, you're sitting on the bench as Mac, performs this exam. He finds, the cut on your arm where some glass flew in and sliced you. So he's wrapping a bandage around that. And he says, you're a lot more calm than somebody who might have gone through something as strange as what happened tonight. Makes me think it's not your first rodeo.
I believe it or not, no, this actually was the first time.
He raises an eyebrow at you, his eyes kind of inquisitively looking you over. Well, I gotta say, you look the part, man. It's quite the get-up. I know we cut a rather unusual pair, me and my partner, but we're here to help.
Yeah, I can tell. Does it always feel like this?
We haven't even gotten to the finale yet, buddy.
Right.
Sorry about your friend. He seemed like a good guy. If what that postman was saying is correct, he's a piece that doesn't fit. You see he pulls a phone out and has just like, it looks like a government ID image of Malcolm with just like some details like occupation, place of business, residence, blah, 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 blah. Like this is a government agent, so he's able to quickly pull up details on people. And he says, Malcolm Greer, never been arrested, no criminal record, no incidents, except a couple parking tickets in the last 30 years.
He has no criminal record?
Pretty upstanding guy. So, you seem to know him. Why'd they come after him?
Yeah, he said that he'd done some pretty bad things in his life. I mean, I guess that's not according to the law, but he never seemed like a bad guy. I mean, he was my friend.
Spiegel nods and says, well, something's out of place. So we're probably going to head back to our contact. She'll probably know or be able to shed some light on this. And like I said, you're welcome to come with your friends too if they want to. Probably got a lot to do here, but...
Agent Spiegel, don't go in the back. Please.
Manipulate someone for me.
Wow, 12.
Fuck yeah.
All right, Quentin. You say that, and you just see Mac's eyes flit for the briefest of moments at your wrist, at your tattoo. And then back to you, and he just nods, and he says, all right, kid, we'll leave it alone.
Like I said, man, first rodeo.
He'll pat his shoulder and stand up. Ross, you ready to go? We should head back to Margie's. And she is having like a staring contest with Bonnie at this point, but
Bonnie hasn't blinked.
And Jerry's just kind of like standing there awkwardly, like, whoo.
Yep.
I should have warned you, Bonnie's kind of a pain in the ass sometimes.
I can handle it. Let's go. And Ross heads back towards their black sedan.
Wait. Hang on.
Spiegel stops and turns around. What's up there, Mr. Postman?
Granny Margie.
Maybe, yeah. She's not my grandma, but...
Like Granny Margie Blueberry.
Yeah, the little duck.
Yeah, all right. Okay. How do you know her?
Meet all sorts of people in our line of work. Why, you acquainted?
We're friends, yeah.
Well, do you want to come?
Give us a moment. We'll catch up, I guess.
We can throw the radio on while we wait. You let me know. I'll give you 5 minutes. And they get in the car, turn it on. It's just got the lights on, running.
All right, Bon, what the hell was that about?
Oh, I spent a lot of time here making my home here. I don't need anybody snooping.
I understand, but you were on her case even before she was snooping.
That sword of hers isn't a sword.
It looks kind of like a sword to me.
Yeah, of course it does to the naked eye.
Is it like a cosplay kind of thing? I'm not entirely sure what you're talking about.
She baps you with her tail.
Aye.
No, you idiot.
I just need to pause for a moment and say, Patrick, someone always says that, and it's my favorite thing. Is that here's this like incredibly badass character, but someone always like, are you cosplaying? It's the funniest fucking thing. Thank you so much. Good to hear.
You're so welcome. But how do you mean?
It's very complicated and might be a bit much right now to explain. We've already dealt with enough.
Bonnie, I don't have a job anymore. I got a lot of time.
No, you do have a job.
And she looks at the staff and then looks at you.
I mean, like a paying job.
I mean, I don't know where Malcolm kept the deed, but theoretically, you can always take over the shop.
Bonnie rolls her eyes, walks past your head, Jerry, and disappears. And then a moment later, you feel her weight on your shoulders again, just all of a sudden.
Nope.
As she reappears, and in her mouth is a piece of paper.
Mm-hmm.
Someone take it out my mouth, please.
Quentin, you open it up, and it is a certified letter saying that Malcolm is leaving the shop to his employee, Quentin Bell.
Oh, I'm finally a key holder.
Oh, it hurts so good.
Oh, I'm so glad that he trusts me after he died.
Post-mortem. Oh my god.
Oh, the woes of retail.
And there is in fact a little key hanging around her neck.
He is leaving everything to you, Quentin. He didn't have a lot of family that he kept in touch with. And, for reasons outside the normal scope of things, you are his protege. So.
Looks like you're wearing the shoes now.
Yeah, I guess so.
Oh, the window.
A window rolls down, and you just see Mac. He's got one hand resting on the wheel, and he just glances over at y'all with a questioning look on his face.
Figure we should head to Margie's.
I'm staying here.
Are you sure, Bon?
I must protect my home. I've already lost too much.
I mean, it's not going anywhere.
Q, how about you go? We'll stick back here at the shop and you let us know what you find out, all right?
Sure. Yeah, okay. I'll say hi to Blueberry for you guys.
You do that. Puts a hand on his shoulder. You've got this.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're gonna fill those shoes just fine.
Oh, stop saying that, Jerry. Good night, guys.
All right. You leave the bookshop and head into the backseat of Agent Spiegel's car. And it drives away down the cobblestone.
As they're driving away, Jerry sifts through some of the rubble and sees the last unbroken bottle of cider and just cracks it open.
And a little while later, you pull up to this small house. It's kind of worn looking with peeling paint on the siding. It's white, some cracked windows, some where the shutters are hanging off a little bit. There's old Christmas lights that are sort of up all year long, it seems, and wrapped around the small porch that has a screen door, also slightly crooked. This whole house is just a little bit to a slant in different directions all over it. There are some little statues in the front yard, which is overgrown with normal wild grass and flowers. It looks like it doesn't get mowed very often. And a little brick path that leads up to the door of the house.
It's just like every other house in Salem.
Yeah, it's just this little house. And Spiegel parks the car. All right, we're here. Let's go see what she says.
This is Margie's house?
Yeah, what were you expecting?
I don't know, like a retirement home or something?
Well, don't let her hear you saying that. When you get into the house, the interior does not match the exterior. It looks more like a wooden log lodge. It's also several stories inside, despite being one story on the outside.
It's bigger on the inside.
And there is a roaring fireplace with a mantle and strange jars of dried herbs and things, some hanging from different rafters that seem to crisscross in between the different floors. It's almost like up through the center of the house, there's sort of an open area and then square halls and walkways that lead to different rooms that sort of go up 3 stories. And Nana Margie, you hear her voice coming from above, and she says,
Ah, you come back, huh? How'd it go? Did you find him?
Ross walks to the center and calls up through where these rafters crisscross and things are floating. She says, Nana Margie, we were too late again. They got your friend. And descending from the 3rd story, which seems to be a bunch of bookcases just facing outwards, Nana Margie starts to float down in a super-sized Dunkin' foam cup with a lit cigarette out the back that she seems to be using to steer the cup with.
Oh my god, she's Baba Yaga! Are you fucking kidding me right now?
That's absolutely incredible.
She's Nana Margie, and she's specifically from Boston, not Russia.
Is that where her house? Oh my god, Blueberry is the house!
The friggin' Dunkin' Donuts cup. I love it. I love it so much.
So she descends in this massive Dunkin' foam cup, which once she lands, it shrinks back down into a regular cup, which she just takes a sip from.
Ah, Quentin's here. Hey, good to see you. Sorry about poor Malcolm. I tried to warn him. Did he not close all the windows or something?
What the fuck?
Come on, kid. All right, yeah, I'm a witch. Okay, this is my place. Welcome. Have a seat. There's treats on the table if you want.
And there's just a pile of cookies appears.
He slowly walks over with his hand on his head. I had no idea they made larger than large.
That's the thing. That's the thing
That's
that you
it
can't
right
I
believe.
didn't know they did supersizing anymore.
And he grabs a cookie and he sits down and I imagine that it's one of those super old-fashioned, it's like an old love seat.
Yeah. It's like an old leather recliner.
Yeah.
You can see in the fireplace there's this big pot it's like a black cauldron hanging and bubbling with something. The smell of a good broth is sort of wafting through the air in here. And Spiegel comes forward and he takes out his notebook, says, We met a couple other folks. They didn't seem to want to come, but they said that it's definitely a slua. So does that help you at all, Nana Margie? And she says,
Yeah, I was kind of figuring it might be something like that, but good to have it confirmed. At least it's not a vampire. Jeez, we don't want to deal with one of those.
Why is there so much talk about vampires lately?
Yeah, I mean, they're no good. You don't want a vampire in town, right, kid?
I love Nana Margie so much.
I guess not. I don't know. Never met one.
They're all right, but, deaf. She just shrugs and then scoots over to the fireplace to start stirring the big pot she's cooking in. She takes a couple munchkins from a little Dunkin' box and tosses them into the soup.
What?
Okay, yeah, that's getting somewhere.
I'm sorry.
She fetches a jar from one of her shelves and pulls out this little desiccated dried lizard and throws that in too.
Stop.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that's the good stuff right there.
Oh my god. I can't.
Munchkin and dry lizard soup.
This is
Oh,
the
yeah,
truth.
no.
This is it, guys.
This is what Bostonian witches are like, okay?
This is the most New England thing in the world. There we go.
Yes. Oh my God.
We found her, everybody. We found the single most Bostonian of Bostonians ever. She's a witch named Nana Margie, and she puts munchkins in her
Oh my
soup.
God. I love Nana Margie.
She's the best. She has a baseball that looks like it's like been signed a couple times, and she has like a cheese grater, and she's just grating baseball into the soup.
What the hell?
It's got Big Poppy's signature on it.
Yep.
It had Babe Ruth back when he was on the
Yeah,
he was on the Red
exactly.
Sox for that very short amount of
Oh
time.
no. Oh.
So she's working on cooking up something. Ross says, "How do we get ahead of it? I'm sick of getting there late." Nana Margie says, "Well, we got to figure out who it's following around. There's got to be somebody in town that's like, because they're attracted to negative energy. So it's got to be somebody, right? Quentin, why don't you investigate a mystery?"
Don't mind if I do. That is a 9 total.
You can ask one question.
Do they know where it went? The agents, have they been following it?
No, they haven't been able to catch it, right? They keep showing up just when it's over. They don't know how to find it beforehand to stop it.
Do we know what can hurt it?
You don't, but if you want to ask that question aloud, I can answer it for you.
They were saying that it's easy to get rid of one of them, but the swarm is a lot harder, right?
Yeah, that's the big problem with these slower. Nobody knows why they swarm, but once they start, then they get too hungry. You can't stop them. So they've been going around, having their fill, and unfortunately made a snack of poor old Malcolm there. So I've been working on something here, and she points to the cauldron, which is in the fireplace. She says, "I'm really trying to cook up something good here, right? I got this, I use this for a lot of stuff, but for somebody who's hungry, you have some of this, you're not going to be hungry for a while." And she actually like takes a ladle out, puts it in a little bowl, and like hands it to you to try.
He just watched her grate a baseball into it.
I know what I described, but it just looks like soup.
Yeah, a lot of things just look like soup.
But is it good soup?
Yeah, that's fair. In fact, she says, "Yeah, you know what? We should all try it." And she'll like spoon out bowls for Ross and Spiegel and hand them some. She's like, "I think I got it right. I had to go shopping today." You see a bunch of like ingredients of like celery, carrots, like classic soup ingredients that she's been chopping up and tossing in occasionally, and like spice bottles, baseball, munchkins, coffee.
Dried lizard.
He's going to watch Mac and Hillary to see if they take a drink first.
Yeah, sure. Mac takes it and he just shrugs, sips a little bit. "How'd you make corn chowder with carrots?" "Yeah, I got my ways, and it's a magic cauldron. What do you want?"
Forget about it.
He takes a little sip.
You take a little sip. "What's your favorite soup, Quentin?"
Oh, man. New England clam chowder, obviously.
It's the creamiest chowder you've ever had. It's so savory. It's got just a little bit of the ocean, but like also the like real soft potatoes, like a nice bit of pepperiness to it. It's real good.
Mine tastes like chowder.
And Ross shrugs disinterestedly, takes a sip, and like drops her bowl.
Oh.
I could taste it. What the fuck is in that stuff? And Nana Margie just takes another like styrofoam bowl off the shelf, puts the thing out and hands it to Ross. She says, "Hey, you go ahead and finish that there, kid, okay? I know you've had it rough."
Oh.
And Ross just like goes and sits down like by herself and just quietly has some soup, which to her tastes like chicken noodle.
Yeah, it's somebody's chicken noodle, so like someone specific.
Mm-hmm. Mac is kind of like looking at her like, not concerned, but there's almost a smile on his face, like he's happy for her. He looks to Nana Margie and says, "So this is gonna solve it then. They'll have some of this soup and that'll do it." She's like, "If they're hungry, right? We gotta get it to them. We gotta get it to them, get them to eat the soup. I think that'll take care of it. But again, we don't know how to find them. As soon as they attack, they disperse. They're not hungry for a while. We need something to draw the slewer to us, If we had somebody who like really was giving off some bad energy, like truly rancid vibes, or just having like the worst time or something, that sort of negative energy could probably get the swarm to show up no problem."
Oh, shit.
And we cut away to the front of Derby Square Bookstore.
I figured it out.
Wow.
Fuck.
Bonnie and Jerry, you guys are hanging around the busted up bookstore, and you hear the clip clop of some boots with like a little heel to them coming down the cobblestone. And Bonnie, you see Rachel run to the front of the bookstore and just put her hand over her mouth like, oh no, oh no. Sinks down to her knees.
Oh, honey.
Bonnie comes up in cat form and just like lays in her lap and kind of just like lets her do whatever, if she's gonna pick her up or hold her. Just becomes a limp cat, just completely accepting whatever it is that Rachel wants to do to console herself. Just absolutely just trying to be a good kitty.
Yeah, she hugs you so tight and just cries into your white fur.
Mm-hmm. She purrs nonstop.
Yeah.
Jerry's still just sitting in the chair, letting that moment happen. Hey there, Rach.
Hi, Jerry. Oh my God, I can't believe he's gone.
It's gonna be all right.
What happened?
Yeah, there was a bit of a power surge. Malcolm went to go try and fix it, and must have been a stray current or something and backfired on him.
Do you want to manipulate someone?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That's a 10 total. 4, 3, and then plus 3 for my charm.
Okay. Yeah, he was always trying to help out. Oh, God.
Yeah.
Bonnie, your ear pricks up because you hear.
Bonnie immediately tenses, and her tail was just kind of like limply wagging back and forth. But Jerry, you notice that it starts twitching and begins to poof up.
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. You start to hear the fluttering of some wings rustling in trees around the street.
Rachel, I was going through, we've been meaning to go through some of Malcolm's things and just, tidy up. Why don't you come help me in the back room? Why don't you should both come?
If you look back into the bookstore, you see eyes peeking out of the holes in the roof from behind bookshelves.
And just gonna very, slowly try and guide Rachel back, into the safe room.
Oh, no, they're coming from there, like the back of the...
They're coming from the safe room?
Well, not the safe room, but, she's outside on the sidewalk, right? You were sitting in the front window display.
Right.
So, they're starting to creep out from regions in the building, since the windows are open.
Oh, then I'm absolutely, hitting the panic button, being like, hey, Rachel, it's a bit of a mess. We'll clean up tomorrow. Why don't I take you home? All right? Well, let's get out of here. It's kind of difficult right now. There's a lot of emotions going on. Let's get to a place where we can kind of forget about this for a little while. What do you say?
If you're going to hit panic button, then you need to name the route you're going to try and then roll sharp.
Absolutely.
So where are you going to actually lead Rachel? Are you taking her to her house? Are you going to go somewhere else?
I'm telling her I'm taking her to her house, but we're 100% going to Nana Margie's.
Sure.
So yeah, we're getting out the front door. I never picked a means of transport, but I imagine...
You have a motorized scooter.
Yeah, right.
Oh, no, you have an LLV. You have one of those big mail trucks.
Well, no, he doesn't. He's a walking mailman, but there's probably a bike rideshare thing in Salem at this point,
Oh, right.
Oh, that's true. Yeah, we should
Yes.
absolutely.
one of the rent-a-bikes.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, good to get some exercise, and it helps process a lot of these things.
Okay, so roll plus sharp. Let's see how this goes.
Oh boy, that's a minus. Fuck. That's not good. That's a 4 total.
Oh, no.
I rolled a 3 and a 2.
I will remind you, you all have 1 luck if you want to burn it on this.
I'm 100% burning my luck on this.
Okay.
So am I rolling again, or?
Nope. If you burn your luck, you just got a 12.
Okay, cool.
And so on a 10, you're out of danger. No problem. So you start to hear the cawing and cooing of these bird slua disguising themselves.
Grabbing my bag, chickpeas in there.
Mm-hmm.
Rachel's got Bonnie, and I'm sure there's a little basket on the bike.
Okay. Yeah, you guys bike away. You definitely do hear the sound of a flock following you.
Oh boy.
We'll cut back to Quentin.
Okay. Everything's fine. So, how long have you guys been doing your thing?
Which of the two agents do you ask this of?
Oh, I was asking both of them.
Okay.
If that's okay.
That's totally fine. Ross, she's having a moment with this soup. She's like wiping her like gothic like eyeshadow a little bit, like her mascara's running.
He'll let her be and talk to Spiegel.
I've been with the agency for 7 years now. Ross has been my partner for 3.
Wow. Do you guys investigate shit like this?
We're technically not on an official case with this one. We've been sort of dealing with some personal stuff. And you see Ross is getting up and going to give the bowl back to Nana Margie and thanking her in a hushed whisper.
Do you work for the real government or I don't really know what I'm asking here.
As opposed to the shadow government.
He chuckles at that. Yeah, I mean, I don't know how we're funded, that kind of thing, but the AC agency's been part of the we're the official supernatural bureau in the United States. Started off as a private family thing, hence the name. But turn of the century, they figured out how to make it sort of an official thing, and now we've got jurisdiction in this kind of work.
Do you know of any kind of points that his tattoo? Do you know any more of us?
I can't say I know any details, but I do know a fellow with a tattoo just like that.
What's his name?
And he will pull out his little notebook, flip through it. Hugo Rashad. Puts back in the book. If you want me to try and get in touch with him, I'll see about that at some point down the line. I don't have his number right now. He was pretty quiet when I met him.
Yeah, I'm kind of on my own out here, and I just want to figure out what I should be doing next. So I really like that.
Yeah, for sure. We get this slew of thing wrapped up, and then I'll see if I can find him. Meanwhile, Nana Margie has hopped into her Dunkin' cup again and floats up to the second floor, knocks on a door.
Fucking love her.
And the door opens up and out walks Blueberry. She's like, "Hey, Blueberry, I was just thinking we might need some help in a little bit. If you want to stretch your legs, get some exercise." And Blueberry opens their wings and kind of flutters down. Nana Margie descends again, says, "All right, so, hey, kid, you seem to think you had an idea. You said your friend has some bad juju around her?"
I kind of meant all of us, but I guess so.
Oh, shit, you think they're coming here?
Look, man, I'm in college. I've got depression and
I may or may not have pirated a couple of books, but that shit's expensive.
Oh, that's incredible.
I love it. Oh, geez, kids these days. You work in a bookshop.
yeah, but we don't sell college textbooks. Come on.
There is a ring ring bike bell outside.
It's not even the bring bring, it's the bring 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 bring. It's like frantically ringing the bell.
Yeah. Of course, it's 3 a.m. at this point, so people are shouting from their house, "Shut up, you asshole!"
Well, they're gonna be a lot angrier in a second.
Who the fuck is out at 3 a.m.? And you pull up on the rent-a-bike.
Not even being nice about it at this point, literally just tossing it on the side like a hooligan.
Wheel locks up.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, you know what, Jerry? Use magic right now for me.
Absolutely, I will use magic.
I hope these rented bikes are magic as fuck.
Plus weird. Okay. That is a 4 and a 3. 7, so that's an 8.
An 8, a mixed success. All right. Since I'm prompting this, I'm telling you, you had to enchant this bike to get it to keep going once you went past a certain like distance from the rental carriage thing.
That's 100% fair. Like, had to like use my magic. You see like a spark go into the little like payment where you'd slide the card.
The little meter.
Yep.
And it just kind of like activated.
Are you fucking cheating the system?
Of course I am.
It's going. It does come with a glitch.
Oh dear.
So you have to pick a glitch that your magic is going to cause.
Oh, I imagine it's like as soon as we're like outside of Margie's, I'm distracted by the fact that it's like, oh, okay, we're here. And as soon as I say that, the bike locks up again and the front wheel locks and I just go tumbling forward. Like,
Okay.
That's what you get for trying to cheat the township of Salem.
I like that. So that would be a problematic side effect.
let's say I take 1 harm because I'm being thrown off the bike and I'm probably like bashed my head.
Okay. You hit your head. Bonnie and Rachel are also thrown from the bike. And I will say that Rachel also hits her head and is just now like
oh no.
out.
Ugh.
Is just knocked unconscious.
She's a normal person. She's not a hunter. She doesn't have a harm threshold.
That's actually probably better for our purposes, I'm not gonna lie.
Bonnie lands perfectly on her feet because she is a cat.
Mm-hmm.
And then looks over at Rachel's like, oh, for fuck's sake. Turns into her human form, goes underneath her arms and starts dragging her to Nana Margie's house.
Jerry just grabs her feet and helps. It's like, look, honestly, this is probably for the best. We don't necessarily want to break the veil here.
Mm-hmm. You can start to hear,
Nana Margie!
Or just like busts through the doors like, we've got trouble!
God, nobody likes to knock anymore.
I'm sorry for not being polite while I'm trying to save a life.
Nana Margie says, oh my goodness, did you kidnap this poor girl? What's going on?
Did we kidnap this poor girl? Nana, I would hope you know me better than that by now.
She's the one they're following!
And Nana Margie takes an adder stone out of her shirt and looks at Rachel and she goes, oh my God,
What?
this girl's got the worst bad luck curse I've ever seen. Yeah, of course they're following her.
I'm sorry, she's got a curse now.
Oh yeah, it's a doozy. Oh geez. All right, hang on. I'm gonna. Oh boy. Crap. That's why they're swarming. It's just this girl. She's. All right. Well, soup's not gonna cut it. We gotta break this curse. Hey kid, you know any magic? She looks at you, Quentin.
Yeah. Yeah, of course I can. Can I do that?
Yeah, I'm gonna need your help. Hey, lay her out.
Okay.
And Nana Margie is going to. She like clears off a bunch of like materials, which you would think would like on the ground, but as soon as she just like pushes them off the table, they're just suddenly gone and appear on shelves elsewhere in the house.
That's awesome. I want that ability. I want that so badly.
Yeah. She's like, all right, lay it down, lay it down. All right, come on, kid. We're gonna go fetch some stuff. And she hops into her Dunkin' cup and like tells you to get in with her.
Oh, wow. Oh, wow.
Meanwhile, Spiegel is like looking out the porch door. Marge, I think we maybe have some visitors outside. And she calls back. She says, you four take care of them till we figure this out, all right?
Right, yeah.
And she does like a little like, I can't do it, but the whistle where you like put your fingers in your mouth.
Yeah.
And she goes, Blueberry, do your thing. And you hear, Wah! And Blueberry the duck just waddles over into the fireplace. Is engulfed in like blue fire.
Oh, that's awesome.
And outside of Nana Margie's house, as the Slua swarm starts to form, the house just shifts. 2 little duck legs form from underneath.
Yeah!
And just start marching down the street.
Boston Yaga.
I'm so okay with
Atta
it.
girl Blueberry!
Absolutely.
Bonnie's gonna look to the agents and to Jerry and just be like, they're going to try and come into every crack and cranny. make sure they don't get to her. I'm gonna be on the roof. And she, like, hops up the banister, goes up and out the window, closes the window behind her, and is on the rooftop.
I like this idea of Bonnie, like, leaping around as a human, too.
Yes.
Same cat-like agility.
Absolutely.
Same perching on stuff, and just, like, yeah.
Absolutely.
So you hop out a window that was kind of open, a crack. Spiegel just pulls a gun from his chest holster, like, man, I hate this part of my job.
I'm gonna go around locking windows, and then as I see Bonnie like bouncing around in human form, be like, Chickpea, you help these two out. I'm gonna go with Bonnie. And then transform into the true puka form and in my little like lemur, like 3-foot lemur form, and bounce right out the window.
Okay, yeah. So Jerry becomes his little dark lemur goblin shape and climbs out a different window, latches it behind him.
Yep.
Chickpea gives you a little salute and then just starts running around, closing windows and shutters and like, and not even physically. She just runs around and like will do a little gesture with her hand and the windows just and latch closed.
It's so cool.
Beautiful.
Ross turns to Spiegel. Keep an eye on the kid. I'm gonna go deal with this. And she steps out, just throws the like front door of the screen porch open, and the sword on her back starts to glow blue.
Hell yeah.
And the belts and wrappings that are all around it suddenly whoosh, fly off and then just wrap around her arms and legs.
Oh, that's so anime. I love it.
Cool.
The sword itself, she like pulls it around, and then she turns glowing white and ethereal such that her skin appears very translucent, so you can see a bit of her bone beneath like a banshee, essentially.
Yes, let's go.
And she just flies out and then lands on the roof of the house with like the little metal smokestack chimney instead of a brick one. Hangs onto that, her white hair whipping in the wind, and her eyes now this like sunken, sort of ghostly look to it. And she just calls to you, Bonnie. She says, "Hey, let's try to work together, all right? For your friend."
All right, temporary truce. But if you get in my way, I'm clawing your eyes out.
Yeah, Ross just kind of rolls her eyes and like goes back to back with you. You see, rather than holding the sword, she will let go of it and it just starts to orbit around her, spiraling.
So cool.
The Slua swarm you now see is in the air, chasing after Blueberry as she waddles her way down one of the streets. And it will start to dive at the three of you on the roof. What are you guys doing?
I'm going to be using magic.
Okay.
These claws that in her cat form would be very natural, they appear in her human form as well. So there's these just like ethereal cat claws that just appear as like one of them tries to dive down and she just like swats up at it. And as she swats, it gets larger and then reforms back to her hand. I'm just going to be using magic.
Nice. I love that. They aren't coming at you one at a time. It's almost as if the whole flock of the birds have taken on this like form of like a long, big-headed, skinny, spindly limbs creature. All the eyes that are lit up red sort of make this face.
Oof.
As the night sky hits it occasionally, it just is this like gray mass. Very alien looking if someone were to like spot it. And for our listeners, this is my reference to the Dover Demon.
Yeah, let's go.
Yes. Let's go.
And this amalgamation, the Slua swarm, is now swooping up and long clawed hands, quote unquote, but it's really just made of more pigeons and crows, start to sweep down and rake at you guys on the roof. So Bonnie, if you want to return claw to claw, that is...
Heck yeah. Let's go. 9, 10, 12.
All right, no glitch.
Hell yeah.
What are you using from the magic?
Can I perform a banish?
Yeah.
Just on this swarm? On this section of them?
The section of them that come down and attack. That's very fun.
So how it would look is the enlarged claw would slash at it, and then they would disperse into the birds and fly away.
Yeah, they just vanish in this green and black mist as your magic destroys several of the smaller individual spirits within this swarm, and it pulls its hand away, like missing that section of it, basically.
Yes.
Jerry, what are you up to on the roof as you defend Blueberry as she flees?
So Jerry's actually going to reach into his satchel bag and very Mary Poppins going to pull out a a old battered and worn Red Sox branded baseball bat, which absolutely has pine tar on it. Suck it.
Of course.
Is it corked? Is it corked at the top?
100%.
Yes.
Except instead of cork, it's got a metal ring around it, and is going to full on batter up and take a big ol' swing right at the head.
Nice. You gonna kick some ass then?
Heck yeah, I gotta kick some ass. I'm gonna try. So that's a 7 plus 1, so that's an 8. So it's a mixed success.
A mixed success? Okay. Something to keep in mind as we get into this final confrontation. If someone gets a 9 on something and you're nearby and able to help, you can help out, and if you succeed on that roll, you can push them into a
Nice.
success as well. Or if they're at a 6 and you don't want them to fail outright, you can push them into a 7. But an 8 is an 8. So you're going to deal some harm to this thing, and they will deal a little harm back.
I'm gonna take some hard back.
Yeah, you leap up and just crack into this thing.
I imagine do like the running jump bat over the head and whack downwards.
Love it. And as you crash down, you do smack a few of these, and they vanish in little black bursts of smoke. But there's so many of them that as you continue to fall through them and then grab the gutter of the house with your tail so you don't get left behind, you are going to take that 2 life drain effect that the Slua is doing.
You got it. I don't imagine that a postman's outfit is too much armor.
Mm-hmm. All right, Ross is going to roll now. She also wants to kick butt. Ross got an 8 herself as well. The Slua brings its other hand down to swipe at her, and she just directs her hands like she's conducting, and the sword leaps into action and just starts to carve its way through, sort of splitting the swarm in half as the arm is now sundered down the middle.
Ugh, that's so cool.
But the pieces that are dispersed as it cuts through begin to circle back. They fly through her and then rejoin the rest of the Slua and do a little of that life-draining ability to her. So she will take 2 harm. It's ignore armor, so her Eastie suit does not help. Oh, but she's a ghost, so she takes 1 less.
Oh, but she's a ghost.
Kind of.
So it's ghosty.
Nice.
All right, yeah. The folks inside. Quentin, Nana Margie is running around with you, and she says, "Why didn't anybody tell me Rachel was cursed? I would have done something about this a long time ago."
Kind of makes sense, Nana Margie. She's got a lot of bad luck following her all the time.
Quentin, you and Nana Margie are going to do some big magic.
Hell yeah. I was going to ask if we could do that.
Yeah, big magic.
Yeah,
Big magic, no whammies.
big magic.
No whammy.
I hope Jerry gets to hand you his bat and then transform into a bat so you can dual wield.
Hey.
Maybe 1 whammy when I go to swing with Jerry. That's a treat.
Are you canonically Jerry Remy?
I don't get that reference.
I don't know who that is either.
So he's passed recently, but Jerry Remy is one of the most beloved Red Sox announcers within recent memory that I know of.
I could totally see Jerry having lived a life as a Red Sox announcer.
Yes, he has. I think maybe that was one of his identities at one point.
Mm-hmm.
I like that. I like that a lot.
Jerry Remy lives on, everyone.
100%.
So here's the thing. Rachel's curse is bad luck. You're going to need to try and break this and circumvent the bad luck effect that might cause a normally successful ritual to just fail outright anyway. So you and Mac are like running around fetching things basically that Nana Margie is like, I need that eyeball from the counter on the third shelf. All right, bring me that desiccated hand from over there. I need a toenail off it.
Gross. All right.
Wait, how does that work?
Don't ask questions. It was a weird guy.
You see those Pepperidge Farm mint Milanos? I need them.
Not for the spell. I'm just hungry and I need to concentrate.
I'm just hungry.
I just need that right now. Incredible. Yeah, so Nana Margie's going to work. The cauldron of the soup is still bubbling away. And those of you on the roof can see that the Slua, while they are going after your group on top, they're also still pounding against the doors and windows of this place, trying to get inside.
Right.
So, Quentin, roll Act Under Pressure. We'll make that the first of this series of skill checks you're going to have to do to pull off the big magic ritual.
I found out also initiates get 4 initiate moves. So I ended up also taking Helping Hand.
Nice. That'll definitely come in handy.
Yeah, I took that as well. I took that as one of my steals.
This is Act Under Pressure.
Mm-hmm.
That is an 8.
Okay.
And I don't think I have anything that helps with that.
However, you are working with Agent Max Spiegel, who also stole the Helping Hand move.
Nice.
Oh,
Let's
hell
go.
Hell yeah.
His whole thing is helping out his very cool partner, Hillary Ross. That's a 9 on the dice, and he has +2 cool, so he gets an 11.
Fuck yes.
Oh, yeah, let's go.
I really only rolled that to see if he got a 12, because he also has Power of Heart. So when helping someone, he doesn't even have to technically roll. You just get a 10.
Hey.
So that combo will give you 2 and bump you up to a full success on this Act Under Pressure. So you're running around gathering things as Nana Margie yells to you, Kid, go get me that glowing orange crystal in the back room. I need it. And you're running and you kind of and go to trip, right? And the crystal is kind of like vaulting in the air.
I absolutely eat shit.
When you fall down the stairs.
Ow, 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 ow. I'm okay.
And Mac just quickly throws a hand out, catches it, and then hands it back to you. And he's like, steady there, partner. Let's try and keep our heads on straight.
You're not used to Blueberry running the house.
Yeah, the house is jostling back and forth. Everything's going around. Nana Margie's just in her Dunkin' cup, floating and swirling around the ritual as she's drawing runes and things around Rachel. He just like helps you up. You gotta stay calm in these situations, Sorcerer's Apprentice. Here you go. And hands it over to you.
I'm actually a wizard.
Two very different things.
I love it.
All right. That's the first success on this ritual that you're using to help your friend Rachel be cured of her curse. Which, if it wasn't clear in my exposition, her curse has reached a point of being so bad that it has caused the Slua, which normally don't swarm, to swarm.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Which is why Mallory died.
Yeah.
Yeah, all the people, if we go back and were to trace it, were all people that like Rachel was either nearby or knew, and like everyone else was like, oh my gosh, your aunt died? Like, oh, this friend from high school that you knew passed away? Like, this is weird. And like everyone just attributed it to Rachel's bad luck, but it was like her bad luck actually taking monstrous form.
No, but like legitimate bad luck.
Right.
Capital B, capital L.
Yep. So, the folks on the roof,
Yeah.
Yes.
what are y'all doing?
I think I want to help out. I want to help out my two rivals here. I've got both of them on here. So I watched the sword cut through the form of the Slua, but it like reformed afterwards.
Yeah.
So I kind of want to enchant the sword, give it a little bit of a boost,
Ooh.
so that when it does cut, it banishes as well, like how I banished it with the claw. So I'm gonna imbue it with that as well, if it'll let me.
This is very fun. Go ahead and use magic.
Okay. 8.
So that will have the magical effect that you want. It will just have a glitch.
So I'm gonna take the 1 harm, but not from the Slua. From this being that is as old as I am.
Mm-hmm.
We don't work well together,
And in this point in time, we kind of have to set our natures aside, which hurts because it's in my nature to be this way.
This ghost and the sword, who for some reason you've been at odds with them,
Yes.
but you reach out to enchant the weapon itself. And when you do, for a moment, your eyes glow with the magic effect, and so do Ross's.
Ooh.
And there is a whoosh connection of magic as you suddenly have a flashback, Ponger, of a time in your life many thousands of years ago
Mm-hmm.
where you were just taking a snooze on a little stump. A little bee flies by, a couple butterflies in this field where you're hanging out, and you open one lazy cat eye. And you see a little girl with blonde, long hair running around in a field. You hear some people quietly talking. You look back, and you see two friends of yours. They're these two women who've been fighting and protecting this village, and you come to visit them sometimes, and you see Aiden and Freya Brightwood.
Oh, God. Okay. Okay.
Your cat face looks and locks eyes with Freya's as she's chatting, and suddenly you look at her, and suddenly it's not this field of happy memories. It is Freya's form, bloody, the rain soaking her form as it limply hangs, impaled through the chest by this massive sword, and a light just rocketing up into the sky away, and her eyes still locked in with yours. And then the connection breaks.
Hanger falls off the roof.
Oh!
The sword glows with this green energy. Ross is going to protect you.
Oh, thanks, Ross.
Okay. I was just about to step in and do the same.
Oh, jeez. Okay.
Oh, no.
Yep.
Did this go poorly? This went way bad.
Yep. Oh, this is great.
How bad?
Ross got a 5.
Can I use my power of the heart or helping hand to push that to a 6?
If you use Power of Heart and Helping Hand, you could push it to a 7.
I will do that. I will absolutely do that.
Okay. I love this. Yeah, this is great. Go. Oh, you don't have to roll because you have Power of Heart. You get a 10.
Right.
We see Ponger drift off the roof, just fully their human form reverts back into cat form and just tumbles down the shingled roof. Ross flicks the sword at the monster and just starts dashing across the roof and dives down to try and grab them and throws a hand back, hoping to grab something. And then how does Jerry save the day?
Jerry is actually going to run forward, and if you'll allow this to happen, is going to also dive after, but is going to quickly shift into eagle form to get below Ross and then shift into red-eyed, black-maned puka horse form and get Ross underneath.
Ooh.
So Ross is now riding on Jerry's back and then also grabbing Bonnie and doing that sort of air dash back up to the roof.
I love it.
That's fucking rad.
What a rad
Yeah.
moment. So yeah, Ross wraps Bonnie in her arms and just starts to twist around, sees you dive off the roof in your lemur form, wings out, eagle scream, swoops behind her, she kind of rolls around on your back, then back into horse form, running in the sky and the air, and then swoop up and around
Hell yeah.
and clop, clop, clop onto the roof.
So cool.
Yeah, and then just staring daggers at the Slua.
Y'all, we're so cool.
Ponger, Ross looks at you in her arms, and she's like, well, guess we're old friends.
She just looks up at you bleary-eyed and both paws kind of grab her face.
Oh. Incredible. Now, I will say, you get Ross to a 7.
Yeah.
Not a failure, but still exposing you and your group to danger
Right.
with all that rescuing that had to happen just now. And even though Ross sent the sword to go do its grim work, it's slicing and carving at the Slua, just sort of half focused on by her. With your enchantment, Bonnie, she's doing 5 harm every time she attacks now.
Oh my god.
Yeah, Ross is built to do DPS. But unfortunately, the Slua is still a massive swarm. And with you guys having to work on defending yourselves, you see them start to funnel into the chimney of the house.
Oh boy.
No, fuck. Oh no.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy.
And so, Quentin, inside, as you're running around doing things for Nana Margie, as she's trying to work her magic to remove the curse, the Slua start to pour out of the fireplace. Some of them get burned instantly and incinerated in this blue fire that sort of is Blueberry's essence in the home. You see many of the shelves and doors in the house just start to smack at them, and like banister will kind of ripple and like kick one off, bursts into feathers and smoke.
A broom comes out of nowhere, just
All the pots and pans are smacking them away, you know, things like that. Blueberry is doing the best she can. Outside, the rest of you see like awnings bend and stretch on the sides of the house, and suddenly a pair of duck wings burst out.
Yeah.
big wings.
With this blue iridescent feathers on the back, and Blueberry just takes off into the air. Now this flying house swooping around above the city of Salem.
This is fun.
This is so great.
I'm already coming up with a way of how we explain this to the people. Like, we're filming a movie. CGI is crazy these days.
Quentin, you're going to need to roll help out, because that will be the second of the 3 rolls I'm going to make you do for this big magic move.
Am I helping another hunter?
You're helping Nana Margie.
Could she be considered?
This is more just to see if your help out is successful. It's less like the number you get. It's just mechanically that's the closest thing.
Ooh, that's a 4.
Oh no.
You have a luck.
Nah, not gonna use it yet.
No?
Could I use my luck to help him? Or is it just for the personal hunter?
Well, I'll say this to Evan. You have 1 luck to use in this one shot. And the last roll I'm going to make you roll is use magic, which is a way better stat for you than any of your other stuff. So,
Yeah, I'll use my luck point then. I'll do it.
you are dashing around. Nana Margie gives you some chalk and says, copy these, put them on your friend in these positions. And she's like giving you instructions as she's also scribbling on the other side and just making these runes. Occasionally, like a Slua batch will come over and like attack her, but the like lit cigarette of her Dunkin' cup just kind of comes up and blows smoke in their face, bats them away, and they incinerate instantly. You see Agent Mac is up, kind of walking and running along the different rafters as they bend and creak and shift around to help him navigate the aerial space that he's now fighting these bird demons in. He's just got a gun, so he'll occasionally just like pop one off, but it's getting one of them, so it's not doing a whole lot. He's keeping, an eye from above, a bird's eye view, and just like picking them off as they come and try and get at you. So you're getting help from him. And yeah, you start to successfully write these runes onto either Rachel's jacket that she's wearing or the table that she's sitting on, and they start to glow. So the magic is starting. Nana Margie's spell is taking effect.
As part of the help, can I say that Quentin, his spell book is like floating next to him, and he's going back and forth between writing this down and like pulling plates out of a cabinet to like deflect off one of the Sluas as they try to get at her.
Mm-hmm. It's very Encanto.
Yes.
Like House slides over a stack of plates to you, and you're like, "Thanks, Blueberry," and just start chucking things at the birds as they attack you.
With his magic, he's pulling them out of the cabinet.
Yeah. Team Roof,
Hey,
Oh boy.
what's your plan?
go Team Roof. I think at this point, seeing the amount of damage that Ross is able to do, and kind of bolstered by the fact that, hey, this person that I've been searching eons to try and find is here, I now have a new determination and vigor. I think Pingerbon's gonna go full spectral cat form.
Ooh, yes!
Yeah, let's go.
I'm gonna go for the throat on the Slua. Just jump right at it. So I'm gonna kick some ass.
Okay.
So I'm gonna use both my bases, which is teeth which deals 3 harm, and magical force, which is 1 harm magical. Close. And we're gonna go all fucking out.
Nice.
Oh, God. Okay, so I have a -1 to tough.
Oh no.
Oh boy.
I have a 2.
A 2?
A 2.
Hanger, no.
Oh, no. But I'm gonna use my luck and make that a 12.
There we go.
Because holy shit.
I love that. Yeah, your cat form just suddenly goes ethereal and ghostly, very much mirroring Ross's ghostly ethereal form. The two of you rise off of Jerry's back. She calls her sword to her. It whips over into her hand. And when she looks at you, Ross is speaking, but you hear Freya's voice in your head.
Yeah.
And she says,
Good to have you back, old friend.
Let's end this. And she runs up the left arm, I run up the right arm, and we're gonna meet at the head.
oh, I love it.
It's so cool.
That's an 8 for Ross, plus her weird gives her an 11. So she will also do terrible harm
Yes.
as part of this, which bumps it up to a 6.
Yes.
And your bite was 3?
My bite is 3,
Nice.
plus 1 magical harm as well.
So yeah, she's dashing up one arm of the Slua as it reaches down at you. You dash up the other arm and bite at the neck portion of it, and it leans its head back for her, and she just decapitates this form of the Slua.
Yes.
Now it's just disparate pockets of them as they start to scatter, disperse. The ones inside the house, however, are still flying around, and the ones that you have now scattered from this large creature chasing Blueberry, the house, also make their way down into the chimney. Because this is kick some ass, what was your secondary effect going to be?
I kind of want to force them where I want them.
Okay.
And I know that Blueberry, being a mystical being in and of itself, also needs to feed. So instead of forcing them down the chimney, she wants to force them into the kitchen, into the oven.
Yep. Yeah, I like that.
Nice.
The oven opens up, and then there's a bunch of them, and then the oven door slams shut, and we see the oven light up, and we hear the molten
Got some blackbird pie coming.
Yeah, a bunch of them burn in Blueberry's furnace, which lights like a gas stove, so it's blue fire.
Yes.
The wings are, flapping as you guys are now sort of dropping down. You hear a booming
Wah!
Yes.
And Ross points her sword down and rides it through the roof. You can follow Jerry if you want to climb in through the hole in the roof. Also, you can.
Yeah. I'll transform back into a smaller form.
And the three of you come down from the roof and land superhero style 1, 2, 3 down in the open area in front of the cauldron, which is bubbling and has this lovely, delicious soup smell. There are still Slua within the house. Spiegel calls down you want to warn somebody before you're about to cut their head off with that thing? He's standing on a rafter that is now busted off inches from where his feet were. Nana Margie says, you're gonna stick around and help me fix that? All right, kid, here we go. And she cracks her knuckles and reaches for your hands, Quentin.
He extends them out to her.
She gives you a little mischievous grin. Let's use that fancy tattoo of yours, huh? And presses your hands down onto Rachel to try and break this curse. Go ahead and use magic.
Oh boy. You got this. I believe in you.
Quentin needs a new pair of shoes. Okay. All right. That's 12. That is 12 exactly.
Yes.
What?
Yeah, let's go!
We love to see it.
All right. Your tattoo flares. Now, this is interesting because we weren't sure at what point you had been inducted, right? With this activation of your magic, taxing it in this big magic sort of way, you go to break the curse and you feel your forearm light up
His skin starts to crack.
Your eyes also light up with the magic. You see this dark aura around your friend and coworker, Rachel, and just say, enough, and burn that essence away. The Slua, who are still swarming about and trying to reform that figure shape, scream as this dark negative energy they've been using to power themselves up is dispelled and begin to swoop down at you and Nana Margie. Jerry,
Yes. We're in the house again.
you're all in the house. I'll say this to everybody. You're all in the house, but especially Jerry and Panger. You see your young friend, brand new to magic, but he is doing his best, and he has just eliminated the threat of the Slua swarming again. So long as you can defeat this group of them, you will have solved the problem.
Cool.
Now, you weren't there when Nana Margie said she was working on cooking up a soup, but Ross was, and she says, "We gotta get him to eat," and points at the cauldron in the fireplace.
Brilliant. Let's see. So I have this handy dandy multi-tool, right?
Yep.
And the way that I've flavored it is that it can kind of transform into whatever I want it to be.
Mm-hmm.
So I was wondering if this tool could become like a bucket almost. Like it's a multi-purpose tool.
Yeah.
So if it could become a bucket and I could just take the bucket, dunk it into the cauldron and just just
spray soup everywhere.
chuck this spray the soup at the birds. What would that be?
This would be act under pressure.
Cool. 9.
If somebody helps you out, that'd be a full success.
Hey, I'm gonna help out
There we go.
by being my normal cat self, and I see the cauldron, and I see that it's on a hook. I can absolutely...
I'll flavor this too. You see Jerry take the bucket of soup and just chuck it at the Slua, and some of them do get this soup, and they seem to and just expand and burst in little bursts of light.
Yeah.
But you see the rest of them, their eyes all lock onto Jerry and start to swarm like they're gonna charge at him.
Oh boy.
And he's standing in front of the cauldron.
I think I'm gonna shift into human form really quick, grab the cauldron, jump up, do a flip, and have the cauldron facing them so they all dive directly into the cauldron.
I love that.
What's gonna happen is Jerry jumps up and grabs one of the rafters so that they all just pass underneath.
Yes.
Whoa!
I'm gonna roll to help out.
So you lemur hop up out of the way. Let's see how your roll to help goes, Panger.
11.
Yeah!
Yay!
Hell yes!
The Slua dive into this soup, this boiling, bubbling, golden broth stew, and vanish as the cauldron of the Dagda does its work and satisfies even the greatest of hungers.
That is so cool.
Yes, let's go.
She puts the cauldron down, looks in it, sees if there's anything left. There's probably a tiny little bit down the bottom. She dips her finger in there, and then we shift back, and it's the cat, and she's just licking her paw.
Aww.
Jerry's still in lemur form, hanging from the rafter, uses one of his feet, with the opposable thumb, and gives a thumbs up to Bonnie.
I love it.
Just looks up.
Mm-hmm.
You all feel the house shake, and there's a splashing sound as Blueberry has landed in Boston Harbor.
No. Guys, we're a real duck boat.
You're a duck boat.
Ah!
We're a duck boat. Oh.
I love it. I love it so much.
Quentin's gonna help Rachel up.
Her eyes flutter open. She sits up.
He's gonna grab the cup of soup that he had, and he's like, "Hey,
What happened?
Just eat it.
Tries a little bit. Oh my god. It's like the best clam chowder ever. Nina Margie just sort of nods, pats you on the shoulder, and walks out to her porch, even though it just steps go down into nothing.
It's into the water now.
And so she just like sits there, takes a sip of her Dunkin', lights a cigarette. I fucking love this city. And we zoom away as the duck boat just sort of swims its way across the harbor.
I fucking love it.
And now we will jump to our epilogue.
Yeah. We all survived. Yay.
We did it.
Sun is shining. Birds, just friendly little songbirds, are flitting through the air. Just a couple of them at a time. None of this big, nasty flock swarming nonsense. And we pan down to the brand new storefront of Wicked Good Books.
Oh, I love it.
I didn't get to name it. It was in his will.
We see brand new windows, new decor. Everything's been cleaned up a little bit. A lot of the books got irreparably damaged in the explosion, and so now there are neat stacks, enough shelves to have books on all shelves and not just piled high up into the ceiling. Maybe it's lost a bit of the charm, but it is less of a safety fire hazard now.
That's fair.
And then moves forward into a new era as we see Quentin Bell, proprietor of the new bookstore, sitting behind the counter with his wizard hat and a little green plaid patch sewed into it. Bonnie's there, enjoying the spacious atmosphere. There's many more flat surfaces for you to lie down on that aren't quite as unstable.
Yes. I do enjoy this.
Jerry, you arrive with the day's mail. We see Chickpea hands you one of them,
Mail call, everyone.
and Rachel shows up. She's got like a big tray of like coffees and a bag. They messed up my order. They gave me like a dozen donuts I didn't even ask for.
Very good.
Her luck seemingly turned around. She smiles and comes over to give Bonnie's cheek a little scritch. And we catch a brief glimpse as the sleeve of her shirt pulls back a bit, a familiar sigil tattooed on the inside of her wrist. And so, yeah, our little group of friends, this trio of 4 monster hunters, now get to hang out in their new shared home together.
Trio of 4.
Could you watch the register just for a minute?
Yeah, of course.
I need to make a call.
Absolutely. Yeah, go do your thing.
He heads to the back room that he has since organized and cleaned up and is now able to find all the texts and artifacts that he needs now. And he pulls his phone out and we see him plunk a couple of numbers on his phone and he puts it up to his head.
Mm-hmm. How's it going, kid?
Hey, Agent Spiegel. So about that other initiate.
Yeah, like I said, we're a little off the radar at the moment, but as soon as I meet up with him again, I'll let him know about you.
Feel free to give him my number.
Will do. You take care now, right?
Yeah, you too. You and Ross.
I'll let her know.
Thanks.
We pan away from the back room, through the bookstore, out the shop, and cut over to Nana Margie's house, now settled in maybe a different neighborhood. Not quite the same one. She's outside, just watering her yard, her garden. Just a bunch of weeds. And blueberries going around, picking at little bugs and gnats and things. We see that familiar black sedan pull up, and the 2 agents step out. Agent Spiegel's hanging up his phone, putting it in his pocket. And Ross comes up to Nana Margie, and the old woman looks at her and says, "Well, you held up your end of the deal. Helped me figure out what the heck was going on and deal with it. I guess I owe you a favor, huh?" Ross says, "You said you might know somewhere we could get information on how to kill demons." "Yeah, there's a spirit in Florida you need to go check out." She just reaches into her pocket and hands Agent Ross a card that says, sunny Gullah Kochika, Florida. Thanks, Nana Margie. You take care, you two crazy kids. And Ross and Spiegel get into their car and drive off. And that is where we'll end our session and part 1 of the 4 podcast crossover series.
I fucking love it. Yes.
Heck yeah.
Thank you guys so much. This was incredible.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Oh,
That was amazing.
this has been so great.
Oh, also, you guys should plug your stuff.
Hi, guys. We're the writer's room.
Yeah.
Hi.
Hello, everyone. We have our own podcast.
Indeed, we do.
Yeah, we run 7th Sea, a TTRPG about pirates and swashbuckling and adventures and intrigue and mystery and magic.
I play Captain Jesse Nakansa, captain of La Rosa Blanca. Patrick is my master at arms.
Waylon Greywall at your service.
And I am everyone else because I am the narrator. I'm the crazy woman that runs this game.
All of the crew, all of the villains.
All of it.
Except for a certain friend of ours.
Jonah, not now.
Sorry. Spoilers.
Incredible. Well, thank you, Writer's Room. I'm very excited for this series to have kicked off with such a fun and explosive episode.
I hope we get to play again.
Me
I do too.
Yes, please. I really want to play again. This was great.
That was so much fun.
I get to be a cat, guys.
I'm a wizard.